After 1984, obviously we all know the ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ 86 ਸਰਬੱਤ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਹੋਇਆ, everything happened. After Chief Minister Byan Singh, he was assassinated just after a little while. Obviously, they made the missionary colleges and that from 96. And all the Parchariks from then on that have come on, if you all track their track record, they've all started here. They've started slowly. They've started with Sikh Itihas. Then they've gone on to Dasam Granth. Then they've gone on to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And their main objective has always been to obviously attack Sant Gyani Jarnail Singh Ji, whether it was Dalgir, even Nikki. Look how Nikki started off. When Nikki first started off, he was actually praising Sant Jarnail Singh Ji. So he carried on doing his prachar and that. And then right at the end, I think last year, he openly said it himself. He goes, the reason why I used Dasam Granth, or the reason why I used Guru Granth Sahib Ji, was because we wanted to get to Sant Jarnail Singh Ji in Punjabi. He said, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਿੰਡ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਛੋੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖੜਾ ਕੀਤਾ, ਸਾਡਾ ਮੁੱਖ ਮੰਤਵ ਆਹੀ ਆ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਤੋੜਨਾ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਭੰਨਣਾ. So my belief is that they're all government controlled, and the government's paying them to obviously, like in our previous itihas during Guru Sahib's times as well, ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੌਮ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕਰਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਾਜ਼ਿਸ਼ਾਂ.
Haji, thank you, Chimkor Singh. Would anyone like to give their thoughts on first introducing the idea of who these fake Parchariks are and what their possible motivations could be, just so that we can get an idea of them before we move into the main points of misinformation?
Main Parchariks, I can name one or two. Obviously, you've got Tardriana Neki, Tunda, Apna, Darshan Ragi, Dalgir, Kagga, Kala Afghana, he's passed away, Jogendra spokesman. Just from the top of my head.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any ideas or anything they'd like to contribute?
I have a question. It's how do you define a fake Parcharik?
So a Parcharik that spreads misinformation, something that's typically against the very foundation of Sikh theology. Of course, everyone has disagreements here and there, but fundamental disagreements that are against Gurbani or against the common agreed upon school of thought by Sikh scholars throughout history. All right, let's move into the main points of misinformation. So starting off the bat, one of the major core main points of misinformation that some modern day Parchariks have started to spread is that the gurus, such as Guru Nanak, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, they were all just normal people like you and me, and they relegated their place to basically being like philosophers, like like Plato or Aristotle, so nothing more than normal people. And right, and they're saying that the actual guru itself is Gyan. And that
when we look at Gurbani, there's a clear pankti. It says Jot Roop Haryap Guru Nanak Kahayo, where it clearly mentions that Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Akal Purkh Swaroop themselves. Where it comes as to Guru Nanak Dev Ji or Dasan Guru just be normal people. Normal people have got Panch Vikar in them, or Ogan. Guru Sahib hasn't. Guru Sahib is Akal Purkh themselves. I mean, there's shabds as well, which clearly indicate that Mara Sache Pasha, they use Shakti themselves. In Maru Rag, we have a shabd, Mol Kharidi Lala Gola, Mera Nao Supaga. Basically, the whole shabd narrates an incident where Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to an area, Elaka. They went to a household where the husband and wife, they was really poor, but they wanted to do seva of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Bala Mardana. When Maharaj Ji came, they were speaking to themselves. They go, ਜੇ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਧੂ ਆਇਆ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਵੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ. ਜੇ ਸਾਧੂ ਇਥੋਂ ਨਿਰਾਸ਼ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਜਾਣ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲਾਈਕ ਫਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਤੇ ਮਾੜਾ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ. They had a young child with him. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਲਾਹ ਕੀਤੀ ਵੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਇਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ. They called Guru Nanak Dev Ji to the household. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji came, the husband, he went out obviously to get ration pani, the stuff to make langar. The child, he was playing in the beda just in the household, and that the lady, she went into the kitchen to prepare the food. The child, he was playing around and ਜਿਹੜਾ ਚਬਾਰਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅੱਗ ਲਾਈ ਸੀਗੀ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦੇ ਪਕਾਉਣੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਚੁੱਲ੍ਹੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ that kid he went into the chula and he burnt himself alive because obviously he was a baby. He burnt himself alive. He didn't know what fire was because obviously he was a little child. And then when the wife came back over to see the child's mother, she saw that my child fell into the fire. When her husband came back, they spoke to each other. They goes ਇਦਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਰੀਏ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰੀਏ, ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਆ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ we'll sort everything out afterwards. So they took the child back into the room, into the bedroom, put a chadar over him, and when Guru Nanak Dev Ji came, they put the food in front of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Guru Nanak Dev Sahib ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ goes ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਨਿਆਣਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਵਿਹੜੇ 'ਚ ਖੇਡਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਿਆ? And then obviously ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਟਾਲਾ ਮਟੋਲ ਕੀਤਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਉਹ ਸੌਂ ਗਿਆ. Then Maharaj asked the second time, they goes, ਨਹੀਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਉਹ ਸੌਂ ਗਿਆ. And then the third time, the Maharaj goes, ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਛਕਣਾ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਚਿਰ ਤੱਕ ਉਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਨਿਆਣਾ ਕੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ. And then they goes ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਵੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਨੀਂਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੌਂ ਗਿਆ ਜਿਸ ਨੀਂਦ ਤੋਂ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਇਹ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਠ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ. ਫਿਰ Maharaj called the child from his name and he came out alive, yawning, and he came up to Maharaj. Maharaj ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸੱਦਿਆ. They sign in history, this is in Guru Granth Sahib. Maharaj ਨੇ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਸੀਨ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਵਿਚਾਰਿਆ ਮਾਰੂ ਰਾਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਮੁੱਲ ਖਰੀਦੀ ਲਾਲਾ ਗੋਲਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਸੁਭਾਗਾ. And then when it comes to the ideology that they're putting forward, that Gyan is our Guru, look how many times the Pangti Gur bin Gyan na hoy comes in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And Tadriala, he's the main cause of this. He's the guy that gave this statement that Guru Granth Sahib is not a guru's Gyan, and he went to this extent. He said Guru Granth Sahib can drown, Guru Granth Sahib can burn, Guru Granth Sahib can get stolen. It's not our guru's Gyan, which, to be honest, whoever has that sort of belief, he cannot be a Sikh. If you don't believe that Guru Granth Sahib is your guru, then you're not a Sikh, really. Simple as that.
Hanji, thank you, Ji. Would anyone else like to give their thoughts regarding one of the main points of misinformation, which is that the gurus were just normal people or like philosophers and stuff? Would anyone like to give their thoughts on that? Anyone else? All right, cool. So let's move on to the second point, which is
record this.
Pardon?
Discussion.
No thoughts, but of course, Hanji Pradeep Singh.
And also I'd like to add another thing. I had a brief conversation with this guy in England, and he's a Christian. He's a pastor. He's a Punjabi pastor. Used to be a Sikh. So what they did in England is they gathered all these different what's it called? They gathered all these different pastors from Punjab to donate to Tadriala. So they asked me, they're like, how can we get into helping him? I knew what they were trying to get into, right? Because ਉਹ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਫੁੱਟ ਪਈ ਆ ਹਨਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਗਾਂ ਕਰੀਏ, right? And I've seen videos of them actually questioning Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, and no one has objected to it. Like it's not even from a Sikh Parcharik, it's from a Christian Parcharik, and they're helping Tadriala. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of people. Well, like I said before, I stand by my word that there's definitely Indian government. They're funding these types of Parchariks. Like I said at the start, there's definitely a hand behind these Parchariks. So
there is a hand behind. Reason being is, like, you will see in Punjab, whatever, like, right now, everyone's like the people that are getting segregated the most are the Sikhs in Punjab. I've noticed that.
I mean, sorry to disturb you, but the biggest point I would say is the fact that Tadriala's got security, 3 types of security: Punjab Police, CRPF,
No,
and
100%,
military.
100%. It's not even about the security, brother. The thing is, a lot of people that are not even from Sikhi are getting into his idea, not because they like his ideas. It's because they know ਇਹ ਫੁੱਟ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਫੁੱਟ ਪਈ ਹੋਈ ਆ, right?
ਤਮਾਸ਼ਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਦੇਖਦੇ like.
Yeah, it's the guy from England. It's he has a channel called Rabadi Avaj. He brings in people that were previously Sikhs, right, in Sikhi. Then he quotes Guru Granth Sahib. Like, I literally had to have a conversation. Like, yo, you gotta delete that, man. Like, you can't. He was making fun of Ardas. and yet no one. I've been studying that
I
clip
mean,
all over.
I've just it's just come to my head as well. You know, like how these people say that our guru's gyan, we only believe in knowledge. Then, like, my question is, because my brother just mentioned ardas in it. Then, what's the point of tadriyana doing ardas at Parmeshwar Dwara when you don't believe that Guru Granth Sahib's a Samrat Guru? Then, what's the point of doing ardas? What ears has
Mhm,
Granth Sahib ji got? If you believe that Guru Granth Sahib is just knowledge, then how
mhm,
can you call Guru Granth Sahib Samrat Guru? Then what's the logic behind doing ardas? The whole reason why we do ardas is so Guru Granth Sahib listens to our ardas. So if Guru
mhm,
Granth Sahib is just a Jariya or Guru Granth Sahib is not a Samrat Guru, then what is the point of doing ardas? There's no point of doing ardas.
mhm. No, I 100% agree. But the thing is, it's like, people are actually questioning, saying "Ete down the right." That's what I'm trying to get at. Because the thing is, asing ki
I
hund
believe
oh
like I
God.
believe that when something like that happens, it's up to us in it to keep our faith
No,
strong.
that's exactly like
Yeah.
I'm in Canada, and I don't feel like I should be like calling this person who's in England, telling him, "Hey, you better delete your videos." I'm not threatening him or anything, but like, hey, you're not in Sikhi anymore. Why are you, having people that are into Sikhi come to your show and try to
Like
try to
simply like
talk.
if you have that belief, you're not like a Sikh in it. So there's no point. Even those people that agree with you, you're not a Sikh in it. So that guy that's running the radio in England. So if he has that Vichartara, then you can't really
No,
even
I
call him a
will
Sikh
I
in
will talk to
it.
you after about that, Jamkor
Oh, yeah.
VG. If
No
you
problem.
right? Yeah.
Can I interject?
Yeah, go ahead, Sarveer Singh.
So I want to start off in a different angle. I want to start off how where the drama comes from, and basically this man's like a high school, I think, dropout or a graduate. He never went to like a higher education, and this man
And,
just like
and another point, just that he hasn't studied anything religiously, so he's a dropout religiously, and he's a dropout, like you said, on worldly education as well. So he's uneducated in both aspects, religiously and worldly.
The
so
funny thing is, when we were kids, we were told that he had like some sort of disease, and his parents left him at a gurdwara, and he was spiritually healed. That was what was going around in the bend back in
ABP
the days.
Sanja, and they made a documentary of that, and they mentioned it as well. They showed his picture as well when he was a kid, and when he was taken to his Baba Karam Singh. ABP Sanja, they made a documentary, and they showed that clip as well, what you've just mentioned, when his parents
Oh,
took
okay,
him
okay.
to Baba Karam Singh as well. Yeah, so it's
yeah,
100%.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so this
See,
this guy he started being a baba at 16 years old.
Mm.
So
So what he's basically done for the last
so
16 years, he's done parchar of all of like what Sikh is, isn't it? And then so for the last
yes,
4 years, he just
think about it.
contradicted himself.
It's a 16-year-old teenager. He becomes a baba. So and then he's been in the Sant Samaj a long time. He was a baba for a long time. Everybody knows what he did. Like people used to matha take to him. I remember as a kid, like there used to be his CDs and stuff at like our Gurdwara, right? When I was a kid, like his older CDs. I remember that at that time, like we never listened to Darjeeling. Like we knew he was crazy at that time too. Like and even I can tell you one situation. There was actually one year, I think in like 2011 or 2012. There was actually an AKJ Ransby, and then there's like another Gurdwara like 4 blocks away. Like Darjeeling was doing a program there. That year, more people went there because I kid you not, because Taksal in our area had said Darjeeling was coming here, boycott this AKJ Ransby. So it's like this man, Tardiwala, has had like experience with like everybody basically. So he might be he doesn't know anything about like Sikhi and Dharam like proper.
but
Maybe
the
he
thing,
does,
you're 100% right, bro. Like,
but he knows like politics.
no, but the
Agreed,
thing is, a
innit?
lot of people when they listen to him, pata ki hunda hai? Like some people like to have like when you're at his events, because all these people show up. Reason being is they listen to katha, right? He has like a different perspective. Like he'll bring up different. He knows how to do prachar. If like it might not be like you know what we
He's
say.
good with his tongue, innit? Like,
Yeah, exactly. That's, you know, his tongue is like the strongest weapon, like it's the deadliest weapon, and he knows how to use it. We might say, like, you know, jida galla karda ya, right? He knows how to use it to his advantage, right? And he was like, the way he was talking about Panja Sahib and all these, like, I understand, like, you know, the thing is, he ajikal e jaan ke photo paunda ya with everything. Like, even when the situation of that singer happened, when he Mai Pago di gal hui sigi, na, he interjected. Then he went all in, saying how, you know, in there it's like, oh Jalil kita saga idda kita si, and
he did
why
that.
do you have to
Sorry to
interject?
interrupt. He did that before as well. Like, obviously you got Kavi Santok Singh in there. You remember, you know, when Nanak Shah Fakir, the film was banned.
Yeah.
He mentioned it there as well, and he goes, oh, "We've banned Sri Nanak Shah Fakir." He goes, "When are we gonna ban Sri Nanak Prakash?" Because he was blaming Kavi Santok Singh for putting an image of Guru Nanak Dev Ji in a head. So he's been doing this for a while. Like I said, like one of his main motives is to finish Sikh Itihas, like he's done throughout his divans. Jadiyan Sakya, even the Sakya he was Jadiyan Das in the last 16 years. In the last 4 years, all he's done is contradicted himself. So everything he's done in the last 16 years, he's just been cutting himself off. कदे कहता महाराज ने पंजा साहब रोक देता, कदे कहता नहीं रोक किदा सकते महाराज तो आम इंसान आ, कदे कहता
Then
गुरु
he
साहब ने
started
सिर
comparing
वड्डे,
us to
कदे
like
कहता नहीं सिर
Hanuman.
किदा वड़ सकते, एक नहीं.
Then he started, yeah. Then he
I would
started
like to
comparing
draw
us to Hanuman.
parallels, right?
Guys, can we
So-
please take can we go one at a time when speaking, please? Thank you.
Sure.
Go
So,
ahead.
I mean, should I speak or Upkar Singh?
He also preaches atheist views, right? He talks about Kudrat, not just Gyan. He talks about Kudrat, how Maharaj is not Chetan. He doesn't believe in Satchit Anand Swarup, right? So
I
वो भी
find
बहुत
that
बड़ी
really
बात है.
funny because there's a पंक्ति in Guru Granth Sahib, पोछना साजे पोछना टाहे पोछना दे वैले, अपनी कुदरत आपे ही जाने आप ही कारण करे.
हाँ, सब तेरी कुदरत, सब तेरी
तू कादर
कुदरत, तू
करता
कादर
पाकी
करता,
ना ही
पाकी नाई
पाक.
पाक.
I
हाँ,
mean, even in a मूल मंत्र when we read करता पुरख करता सिरजनहारिया पुरख एको एक सारियां समाया. Like Sant Kartar Singh, when they do Vyakya of Karta Purkh, they mention as well, like once Akal Purkh made this whole world, जिन्हें चेर, like he said, चेतन सत्ता, जिन्हें चेर तक वो अपनी चेतन सत्ता नहीं विच पाई ताई नहीं चले. Like our bodies, for example, we have our bodies, our eyes are working, our hands are fine, everything, the whole body is fine, पर जिन्हें चेर तक वो अकाल पुरख दी चेतन सत्ता विच नहीं, वो एनर्जी वो अपनी पाਉਂਦਾ नहीं, ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਚੱਲ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ. So like what he's trying to say is a God is a bee, like a seed, and he's just basically grown into this world. And ਪੁੱਛਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਵੀ ਕੁਦਰਤ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਅੰਤ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਪਸਰਿਓ ਪਾਸਾਰਾ, ਇਹ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਕੁਦਰਤ ਮੁੱਕੀ ਆ, ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈ ਆ. So if Qudrat is God, then that means that God can die. If what he's trying to say, because ਕੁਦਰਤ ਦਾ ਅੰਤ ਵੀ ਆ, ਕੁਦਰਤ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜੰਮਦੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦੀ, ਉਹ ਜੰਮਣ ਮਰਨ ਚ ਆਉਂਦੀ, ਉਹ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ. ਪਰ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਮੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਰਹਿਤ ਆ, ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ.
Yeah, so I also want to say, like, one of his main, I guess, tactics he uses basically is today there's a lot of dafard basically in the Panth, and that is, and like people aren't like, I don't want to say, like, I don't try to be disrespectful, but ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਮ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਬੁੱਧੂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ. Like people can see all the crappy politics that's being played out in like Punjab right now, especially with like SGPC and Akal Takht Sahib.
But I'll tell you something. I understand the politics, but you gotta understand. I'll show you that this is crazy what I'm about to tell you right now. I'll show you videos of Amartari Sikhs that have gone to. There's this Christian Parcharik, Ankur Narula, and they're Amartari, and they go to their church. I've had conversations with these people. They say we don't go to the Gurdwara, we don't believe in anything, but they're like, you know, Jesus has accepted us, or you know, whatever, that they have accepted the way we are. So there's a lot of politics. The Indian government knows this is going on.
Regarding, I'm sorry to interrupt, but regarding the fort has always been there from day one. I mean, ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਅੰਗਦ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਤਾ ਗੱਦੀ ਤੇ ਬਿਠਾਇਆ, ਜਾਂ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਚੰਦ ਉਹਨੇ ਹੀ ਅਪੋਜ਼ ਦੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਤਾ ਗੱਦੀ ਤੇ ਬਿਠਾਇਆ, ਜਦ ਭਾਈ ਦਾਸੂ ਜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕੀਤਾ, ਏਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਈ, ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਸੀ, ਪਿਰਥੀ ਚੰਦ, ਫੁੱਟ It's, to be honest, it's been there from day one, and ਸਾਡਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਹੀ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਆ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਿਧਾਂਤ ਆ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ. Regarding SGPC ਜਾਂ ਢੱਡੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ, I'd like to make another point here. ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਢੱਡੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਰੌਲਾ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੱਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਊਂਗਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਸੱਦਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ now the guy is saying ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰਸੇ ਸਾਧ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕੀਤਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਲਾਨਾ ਕੀਤਾ. My question here is, ਜਦੋਂ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਗੁਰਬਚਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਸਾਰਸੇ ਸਾਧ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਢੱਡੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਛਬੀਲ ਲੱਗੀ ਸੀ. when he had ਛਬੀਲ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਸ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਨੇ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਰਸੇ ਸਾਧ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਗੁਰਬਚਨ ਸਿੰਘ, he went to visit ਢੱਡੀਆਂ and ਢੱਡੀਆਂ sat down with him as well. This is after ਸਾਰਸੇ ਸਾਧ was forgiven from ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ. ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਢੱਡੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਠਾਇਆ? ਹਾਲਾਂਕਿ he raised an issue. He goes ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਖਰੜਾ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲਾਗੂ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ. So if he could raise that issue in that situation, why didn't he raise the Sarse Saad issue? And if that Jathedar was so bad, the one that forgave the Sarse Saad, why did he let him into Parmeshwar Dwar? And not only the Jathedar, Avtar Makkad came to see him as well. Sukhbir Badal came to see him as well. Aam Party, apne Congress Party, they all came to see him in it. Like now he's saying ਵੀ ਸਰਸੇ ਸਾਧ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਤਾ ਫਲਾਨਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣ ਆਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਈਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to my point, right? He knows politics. He's not like dumb in that regard. I want to say that thing is like there is a, I'm not saying he truly believes this. I'm like, honestly, I'm not supporting third general, right? Don't get me wrong. But the thing is, he is playing into the common person's view of Akal Takht Sahib, which is that it's weak.
Oh yeah, there's a reason for that.
Jathedars are basically Tuma's puppets. And
regarding that as well, like obviously from time to time, Sri Akal Takht Sahib we know is the main jo Sikhan ਦੀ ਸਰਬਉੱਚ ਸੰਸਥਾ. We've got Sri Akal Takht Sahib ਜਦੋਂ ਸੰਤ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਧਰਮ ਯੁੱਧ ਮੋਰਚਾ ਲਾਇਆ, obviously Sri Akal Takht Sahib ਤੋਂ ਲਾਇਆ ਸੀ. ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ Sri Akal Takht Sahib ਦਾ ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੋਰਚਾ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਚੰਦੂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਨਾ ਪ੍ਰਣ ਲਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ Sri Akal Takht Sahib ਤੋਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ. So the government knows that our main power is Sri Akal Takht Sahib. I mean ਆਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਆ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ Sri Akal Takht Sahib ਨੂੰ ਬਦਨਾਮ ਕਰਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਾਜ਼ਿਸ਼ਾਂ ਆ. Like he's saying, I mean the Jathedar, he gave a statement today as well. He goes, ਢੱਡੀਆਂ was being so funny. I mean he's saying now ਵੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਧੁੰਮੇ ਦੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਫਲਾਣੇ. 2 years ago this same guy was saying Sri Akal Takht Sahib ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੱਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਣ ਨੂੰ ਤਿਆਰ ਹਾਂ. Why didn't he mention ਧੁੰਮਾ? Then like even now Jathedar Gyani Harpreet Singh was saying he objected to 2 members saying that there was affiliated with Dhammi Taksal. And Akal Takht Sahib said to him, we'll get rid of those 2 members, just sit with the 3. And then he was saying he was still being childish. He goes, nahi main nahi behna. First he was saying ਮੈਂ Akal Takht Sahib ਨੂੰ ਟਿੱਚ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੇਕ ਦੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਫਲਾਨਾ, ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਘਬਰਾਹਟ ਜਾ ਗਿਆ? And then bro, like a couple of months ago he was saying ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਅਨੰਦਪੁਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਛੱਡਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਏਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੀਵਾਨ ਛੱਡ ਦੂੰਗਾ. Then where are those statements now? Like yeah, he's saying something, but then he's doing something else.
He knows politics. He knows how to play a common person's mind. The thing is, right? Maybe like 80% of what he says at the moment is false. There is 20%.
One thing I forgot to mention. That's kind of our fault as well, because Sikhi Parchar Pakho, we haven't really managed to go to that pind level and get Sikhi out there, like what Sikhi Siddhant is. So let's say the average guy in the pind, if he listens to Ṭੱਡੀਆਂ for the first time, that's the first thing that's going to him about Sikhi. So if he's heard Sikhi first, if he knows like the basics of Sikhi, then he might know like oh Ṭੱਡੀਆਂ is wrong there. But the majority of people in Pind, like the majority of people probably don't even attend Guru's names. I mean, you should remember about 2 months ago, a KTV, the presenter, he interviewed one of his boys in it, ਚੇਲੇ ਚਾਟੜੇ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਸੀਗੇ. He goes ਵੀ ਦੇਖੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਸਾਡਾ ਇੰਨਾ ਵਿਸ਼ਾਲ ਆ ਵੀ Baba, look at the sacrifice that Baba Banda Singh Bahadur gave. And the guy turned around and he goes, were you there? So like the person that doesn't even know who Baba Banda Singh is or what Baba Banda Singh sacrificed, he's listening to Ṭੱਡੀਆਂ. So if you have people like that, you can say what you want in it. You can if you say, oh, we've had 10 gurus, he'll turn around and say, were you there? Like, you know what I mean? If you're preaching to them type of people, then obviously they're just gonna believe whatever's coming in. Like,
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I just joined the discussion. Is it okay if I interject? Yes.
Oh yeah, go ahead, but please keep it brief. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. So the thing about Tadriala is ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਫਰੈਜ਼ਨੋ ਚ ਆਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਪੰਥਕ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਪੰਥਕ ਸਾਰੇ ਸੰਗਤ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲਾਈਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ, you know, he came here, he's a very good orator, right? ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਕਰਦਾ, you know. So what happened is the reason why he's anti-Panthik now is because when Tumma hit on Tadriala, right? So he had to ally with the people who are more missionary type, jehde Nastik bande hai, right? And the main driving force behind Tadriala right now is Nikki. So what the main problem is in Pindan Sikhi haje kaim hegi ya shehran nal, right? So it's still a little better, but ਫਿਰ ਵੀ it's not how it should be, you know. So the main problem is in Punjab there's a movement of pseudo intellectualism, and that was prominent here in the West probably 15 to 20 years ago. And that atheist and pseudo intellectual movement be मैं atheist hai, be मैं bala intellectual banda, this and that, ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੁਣ ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ. ਸੋ what these guys do is like ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸਰਬਵੀਰ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ 80-90% ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਗਲਤ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ, ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ 10% ਗੱਲ ਉਹ ਸਹੀ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਲਾਈਕ ਅੜ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਪੈਰਾਨੋਇਆ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਵੀ ਹਾਂ RSS ਨੇ ਆਹ ਕਰਤਾ ਉਹ ਕਰਤਾ, ਰਾਈਟ? So what they do is they exploit the paranoia ਆਪਣੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ 'ਚ, and they use that to drive forth their agenda. But the main problem in my opinion is he 100% should have been ਪੰਥ ਤੋਂ ਛੇਕਿਆ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, then that's fine.
Just a thing regarding the Shabil. I mean, if he changes views because of the Shabil, I don't really consider him a man in it. Like, look at Ashid Singh's by Taru Singh, ਬਾਬਾ ਮਨੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਮਾਵਾਂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਟੋਟੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਗਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਾਰ 'ਚ ਪਾ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ
ਨਹੀਂ
ਚੇਂਜ
ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ
ਕੀਤੀ।
ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਸਮਝਦਾ, ਮੈਂ ਸਹਿਮਤ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, you know, like there should be ਸੂਰਮੇ, like ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੈ, you know, they have to be like the peak man, you know, like ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਬਰ ਤਿਆਰ, you have to be a ਮਰਦ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, you have to be a ਸਿੰਘ 100%. ਪਰ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ he wasn't saying ਓਨੀਆਂ ਐਂਟੀ ਪੰਥਕ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ, you know. that time ਸ਼ਬੀਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਕੋਈ ਮਾੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੀ in my opinion. ਤੇ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟਕਸਾਲੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੰਤ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਫੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨੇੜਤਾ ਸੀਗੀ, you know, and they even supported Tadriala at that time because Tumma at that time
everybody did. I mean, Akal Takht Sahab, SGPC, everybody supported Tadriala ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਲੱਗੀ ਸੀਗੀ।
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing I'm saying, ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੜਾਂਗੇ, right? ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੋਰੇ ਹੈ what they did, ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ they supported ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੈਕਟ ਸੀਗੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਸੈਕਟ ਸੀਗੇ, ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਆਪਸ ਪਾੜੀ ਚੱਲੋ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਤੇ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਸੇਮ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਵਿਕੀਲੀਕਸ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਦੇ ਡਿਡ ਦ ਸੇਮ ਥਿੰਗ, ਦੇ ਸੇ ਦੈਟ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਆਪਸ 'ਚ ਲੜੀ ਜਾਣ, ਵੀ ਦੇ ਵਿਲ ਨੈਵਰ ਫਾਈਟ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ ਅਸ। ਸੋ ਦ ਮੇਨ ਥਿੰਗ ਇਜ਼ ਦੈਟ ਸਿੱਖ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਹੈਜ਼ ਟੂ ਬੀ ਸਮਨ ਹੂ ਬ੍ਰਿੰਗਸ ਪੀਪਲ ਟੂਗੈਦਰ। ਤੇ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੜੀ ਚੱਲੋ, ਹਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਆਰਗੂਮੈਂਟ ਤੁਹਾਡੀਆਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਆਈ ਐਮ ਕੰਪਲੀਟਲੀ ਇਨ ਅਗਰੀਮੈਂਟ, ਰਾਈਟ? Back when Darshan Lal, when he was excommunicated, I was full in the thing too. ਮੈਂ ਵੀ protest ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, this and that, you know. But the thing is that you have to think beyond that too, ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਕਰੋ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕੀ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ, ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਰੀਕੀਆਂ 'ਚ ਫਸੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਮੈਕਰੋ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨਾਲ 50 ਸਾਲ 'ਚ ਕੀ ਹੋਊਗਾ, 100 ਸਾਲ 'ਚ ਕੀ ਹੋਊਗਾ, 200 ਸਾਲ, 500 ਸਾਲ, 1000 ਸਾਲ 'ਚ ਕੀ ਹੋਣਾ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸੋਚਣੀਆਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੰਥ ਨੂੰ, you know. ਸੋ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਡੇਂਜਰਸ ਬੰਦੇ ਆ ਇਜ਼ ਉਹਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਹਰਨੇਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇਕੀ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਜੜ੍ਹਾਂ 'ਚ ਜ਼ਖਮ ਸਿੱਟੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, you know. And what they're doing is they're ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਮ ਬੰਦੇ ਆ, ਲਾਈਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਰਿਲੀਜੀਅਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਏ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਸ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਹਾਫ ਬੇਕਡ ਥੀਰੀਆਂ ਦੇਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਬਾਬਾ ਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਸੀਸ ਲੱਥੇ ਸੀਗੇ, you know, ਲਾਈਕ ਜਦੋਂ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋਇਆ, you know. And they come up with these half baked pseudo intellectual things. So to dispel these things, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ how we deal with these issues. That's the most important thing in my opinion.
Definitely, 100%. You're right. The only thing we can do is more prachar, like what you guys are holding here. Stuff like this, and what to what prachar karo, jo sahi sikhi da roop hai, oh more leke aao. I mean, when these such nindiks raise an issue or make a video, make a counter video, replying back to him. In my opinion, that's the only way to deal with him.
Yeah, going back to what Harmanpreet Singh said about that pseudo intellectualism that they're catering towards.
Yeah.
No, not Tumma. Sorry, Tadjawala.
Harneek Singh
Nikki,
Nikki.
yeah, Harneek Singh
He's
Nikki,
saying ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਪਰ
these,
yeah.
these missionary Kathavachiks, these Parchariks. You know, they're in my head. What I usually sense is that they're trying to make Sikhi just easier, right? And people like that. People don't want to follow this hardcore read Barney 24/7, wake up Amrit Villa Sikhi. They want to follow this simple Sikhi that these Parchariks are talking about, right?
It's not
Well,
even
I would even say ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ is simple ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ follow ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਨਾ ਹੋ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ, you know. So what these guys are doing is they're making ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਕਰ ਲਓ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਹ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੋ, you know. ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼
What
ਮਾੜੀ
they've done is basically now what they've done is what we're doing. ਜਿਹੜੇ Sikhi command, what they've kind of said is what you're doing is pointless. First of all, these people don't believe in Jamana Marana. They don't believe in a work after this. ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂ ਆਪ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਜੀ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਹੋਊਗੀ, ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਫ਼ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੁੰਨਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਜੀ ਆਨੰਦ ਲਓ, ਮੁਕਤੀ ਦੀ ਕੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਬਸ ਆਨੰਦ ਲੈਣ ਆਇਆ, ਆਨੰਦ ਲਓ. So for these type of people, if that's your mentality, first of all, you don't need ਧਰਮ. What is ਧਰਮ? ਧਰਮ is ਅਸੀਂ 84 ਲੱਖ ਜੂਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮਨੁੱਖਾ ਜਨਮ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੈ. ਮਨੁੱਖਾ ਜਨਮ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਕਿਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ? We read every day, ਭਈ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਮਾਨੁਖ ਦੇ ਹੋਰੀਆ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਮਿਲਣ ਕੀ ਇਹ ਤੇਰੀ ਬਰੀਆ. And they've just cut it all out. I mean, you lot know Nicky. Look how much rubbish Nicky chats. He doesn't even believe in Guru Granth Sahib. He goes with Japji Sahib. He say nahi likhya, sab kuch likhya, kuch bhi. All these people believe is like a normal gore, like atheist. I would say straight up the atheists. They believe live your life according to law, raise your family, and that's the only religion there is here. That's
They're just making it as easy and logical and practical sounding as they can to, you know, cater towards, as you guys said, the pseudo intellectuals today.
Haji,
but they're
just one thing,
sacrificing
guys.
some of the.
Just one thing. Number one, we have a few people here who aren't well versed in Punjabi, so it would be great if you guys could please repeat like what you're saying in Punjabi and English. That way, everyone else can understand. Second off, before we're currently, just to get the conversation back on track. Right now, we're on discussion point number 1 regarding the main points of misinformation. I just wanted to ask if anyone here thinks that Neki or Tadriwala or anyone, if anyone agrees with them or believes that they have valid points, feel free to speak up and give your thoughts on it, because obviously we want to allow other people to speak as well. So if anyone believes that Tadriwala has valid points, now's your chance. You know, feel free to give your thoughts.
Yeah, all the Tadriwala advocates, you can come out and speak. I actually want to hear what they would say. But yeah, so like one thing also, like they're some of these Parchariks, they're sacrificing some of the key things in Sikhi, like what you're saying, Dharm, right? Chastity like June de vich assi aaye hain, assi yes manas janam milaya, assi mukti lai assi aaye hain. That's our goal. So the goal of our life, just to say it in English, right, is to get out of this 8.4 million life forms and like become one with Vaheguru. And like they're taking out some of these, like they're sacrificing some of these key points to try and push more simple, logical, straight to the point type of thing for like your everyday type of like Sikh person that's not really practicing it fully. So yeah, they're definitely sacrificing some key.
Yeah, they're sacrificing just for a larger sangat, right? They're
sacrificing for a larger following. Yeah, for a
larger following, more pasa, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I found it so funny in one of Tadriana's videos. He mentioned. He goes, I'm sorry, I'm saying in Punjabi and you'll understand it like simple Punjabi. He goes, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਹਨਾ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨਾੜੀਆਂ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਟੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ. This is what Tadriana said. It's a recording and he said it live in it. So I'm not like putting words in. You can hear it live as well, like exactly how he said it. He goes, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾੜੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, ਉਹ ਟੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਝਰਨਾਟ ਜੀ ਵਾਜੀ, like we get this feeling in it. Or like Anand aa gaya, Phalana aa gaya. Then he goes, when a husband and wife, when they sleep with each other, ਉਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਨਾੜੀਆਂ ਟੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਆ. And he goes, ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਝਰਨਾਟ ਵੱਜਦੀ ਆ. And someone like me would be thinking, you're Tadriana, first of all, you ain't married, So how do you know ਉਹ ਨਾੜੀਆਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਟੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਤਾਂ ਝਰਨਾਟ ਵੱਜਦੀ? So how does someone like you that's not married, how do you know that ਨਾੜੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ? So like, you know what I mean? And then this guy is doing prachar, the man doesn't even know nothing in it, like it's comedy what he's doing. ਜਿੰਨਾ ਇਸ
Yeah,
ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ
ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਣਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ the
But-
only
Giving a little
reason
kid a stage. It's like giving
But
a
The
little
Nick
kid
in
a
New
reason-
stage.
Zealand is more like
But
just
the thing is, bro, some people actually take him
Guys,
serious. Like,
one at a time,
and I'm
please,
like,
one at a
come on,
time.
Gappa.
The thing is, right? Even the missionaries, right? Even Darshan Ragi, one who like you,
But we-
he was
But we
Sheikh.
gotta understand this person has a very large following. We might think like, you know, as a like, you know, because I know people from my bend and from around my villages that support him, right? And all they do is listen to his katha, and he has a large fan following, as you could say. He's like a, you know, like a rock star, quote unquote. That's what he considers himself now.
Just
Even when
regarding
he's
his
here.
fan following, yeah, you know the people that have promoted him here. I'm in England. I can speak of England, and I know all of those main people as well. Even in America or wherever, all of those people that promoted him, they're all against him now. And the majority of his fan following is on like Facebook. But in reality, like ਜਿਹੜੀ Facebook ਦੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਕੰਮ ਦੀ ਥੋੜੋ. I mean, if Facebook mattered, then all of our prime ministers, chief ministers, they would be voted according to Facebook. If you look at now, like ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਆਇਆ, ਇੱਕ ਵੀ ਸੰਪਰਦਾ, ਇੱਕ ਵੀ ਸੰਸਥਾ, ਇੱਕ ਵੀ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀ, not one has rejected ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ. I mean, normal people have on like Facebooks and that, but no one has really stood with it. I mean, Facebook, you can't even tell if it's a fake account, if it's a real account, or if the person's a Panthic, or if he's non-Panthic. So it's just like a number. So let's say you can have like 1,000 people watching you, but how do you know that 1,000 people is you're supporting, or they're watching to swear at you, or they're watching to listen to you? So it's not really, you can't really count that as a number.
No,
Most of his supporters as well. They're from what I noticed. This is anecdotal, but you know, correct me if I'm wrong. That it's mostly just people from the cities of India. You know, those typical
ਪਿੰਡਾਂ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ so
And the
main
other
thing is that
this. Yeah, carry on, boss.
ਹਾਂਜੀ just real quick so the main thing is that the reason why Nikki ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਖੰਡੀ ਆ ਕਿਉਂ ਉੱਠੇ ਆ is because there is ਕਈ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸਰਬਵੀਰ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਇਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਕਈ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਖੰਡੀ ਬਾਬੇ ਧਰਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਛ ਗੰਦ ਪਾਇਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ there's 100% ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ because a lot of people like ਨਾਂ ਸੰਤ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਪਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੁਛ ਹੋਰ ਹੈ right and they use that ਆਪਦੇ ਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਚੱਕਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ right there's a lot of even Parchariks I'm not going to go into politics and stuff they've said stuff like ਵੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਭਾਈ ਅਮਰੀਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਗੋਦ 'ਚ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋਏ ਉਹੀ ਬੰਦੇ ਬਾਦਲ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਚਲੇ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ you know and these people are the reason why ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਆ ਅੱਕੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ ਤੇ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰੂਮਰ ਬੰਦੇ ਆ ਨੇਕੀ ਵਰਗੇ ਤੇ ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਰਗੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਦੇ ਏਜੰਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸੋ ਮੇਨ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਹਰੇਕ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ 'ਚ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਲੈਵਲ ਉਨੀ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਸਾਡੇ 'ਚ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ 'ਚ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਹੁਣ ਡਿਸਕੋਰਡ 'ਤੇ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਲਾਈਕ ਪੋਲੀਟਿਕਸ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਰਾਈਟ ਸੋ ਸਾਡਾ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਕ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਲਾਈਕ ਟੂ ਡਿਸਰਨ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਝੂਠ ਹੈ ਰਾਈਟ ਆਮ ਬੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਕੋਲ ਰਾਈਟ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਰਾਈਟ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਚੱਕਵੀਂ ਜਿਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਬਸ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਸੋ ਦ ਵੇ ਟੂ kind of prevent these groomers is we have to create a culture ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਕੌਣ ਬੰਦਾ ਲਾਈਕ ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਲਾਈਕ ਚੰਗੇ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰਕ ਕੌਣ ਹੈ I forgot the name of the ਸਿੰਘ he's a ਟਕਸਾਲੀ and ਨਿਹੰਗ ਸਿੰਘ ਬੰਟਾ ਸਿੰਘ right he's amazing ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰਕ right people like that but there's a lot of bad people as well too so
I'd just like to mention Nikki Hunter, you know who I am. I did shows on a KTV, it's a TV channel here in England. I did shows against Nikki on these channels and I've made videos with Jagwali Singh
That's awesome.
and Sukhminder Singh Sal. He's running a TV show in Australia. I've been calling regular and we've been basically on it from day one. And my father, you probably know, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੰਜ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਚਿੱਠੀਆਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ 50 ਚਿੱਠੀਆਂ from all of UK and Europe ਜਦੋਂ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਿਕਾਇਤ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਬਲਦੇਵ ਸਿੰਘ ਆਮਦੇ ਪਚੰਗੀ ਸਿੰਘ so yeah we've been on it from like day one and ਤਕਰੀਬਨ 4 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਲੱਗੇ ਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਦਾ ਸਰੋਵਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਬੋਲਿਆ And like you said, bro, it's just like in ਜੇ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਡਟ ਕੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੰਗਤ ਭੋਲੀ ਭਾਲੀ ਗੁੰਮਰਾਹ ਹੋਈ ਆ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਲੈਣ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈਏ ਆਹੀ ਆ and regarding this has been going on throughout history. I mean, look at the ਮਸੰਦ ਤੀਜੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਵਿਗੜਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਤੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਕੜਾਹੇ 'ਚ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਸਾੜੀ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਨੇ ਗੰਗੂ ਹੋਇਆ ਆਪੈਂਦੇ ਖਾਂ ਛੇਵੇਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਹੱਥੀ ਪਾਲ ਕੇ ਲੋਕ ਵਹੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਰਾਂਡ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਹੱਥੀ ਮਾਰਨਾ ਪਿਆ ਸੋ ਆਹੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਤੁਰੀਏ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਲੇਵਾ ਦੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਫੈਲਾਈਏ ਤੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਆ ਲਾਈਕ ਹੀ ਸੈਡ ਨੇ ਲੋਕ ਸਾਰਾ ਗਮਰਾਹ ਹੋਇਆ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਲੈਣ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈ ਆ ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਤੇ ਨੇਕੀ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਇਲਾਜ ਨਹੀਂ ਯੂ ਨੋ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਇਲਾਜ ਕੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਇਲਾਜ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਲਾਈਕ ਹੀ ਸੈਡ ਬ్రో ਲਾਈਕ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਜੋ ਹੋਵੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਖੀਆਂ ਸੁਣਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਇਸ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈਏ
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹਦਾ ਹੱਲ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਨਾ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਇਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਪਦਾ because look I want to make a few points because I haven't talked much as ਪਹਿਲੀ point ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੁਣ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਸ਼ੇਕ ਦੇਣਾ ਸੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ he should have been kicked out the panth a long time ago. The thing is alongside that ਇਹ ਧੁੰਮਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਮਾਰੇ ਆਪ ਟਕਸਾਲੀ ਵੀ ਮਾਰੇ ਮੈਂ ਚੇਤਾ ਇੱਕ ਜੋਗਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਟਕਸਾਲੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਿਆ he assassination attempt ਢੱਡੀਆਂ ਵਾਲੇ thing is he is exploiting what people see that Akal Takht, Tumma, Badal, they're all like in together. He probably is, I don't know, he's kind of more like captain side. He's
Congress
I'd like to answer that.
Look what Harman said. Right? He said like they're speaking logically. They're not speaking logically, but what they are doing, they're feeding into the hate of Badal and Tumma. Because Tumma's face is also on that poster as well, that fake Parcharik poster. Tumma is like another Tarjama. Just said this man is Chop. He's more like behind the scenes. So like these two people, they gotta get out the panth. Tumma and Tarjama and Neki. Neki is the one running the strings behind Tarjama.
I'd just like to clarify that a bit regarding Joga Singh. Joga Singh, you might not know as well. There's another Taksal Singh. His name is Bhai Sandeep Singh. They had a fight with each other regarding truckan di ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਸੀਗੀ. Joga Singh went down and he beat him up in it. 7-8 ਮੁੰਡੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਦਲਾ ਲੈ ਲਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ and obviously we know he drove his car into ਆਪਣੇ ਜੋਗਾ ਸਿੰਘ and unfortunately ਜੋਗਾ ਸਿੰਘ passed away. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਨਿੱਜੀ ਲੜਾਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਅੱਜ ਦੋਨੇ ਜਿਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਸੰਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਵੀ ਜਿਉਂਦਾ ਥਾਣੇਦਾਰ you can check it out yourself ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸੰਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਵੀ ਆਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਿੱਜੀ ਸੀਗਾ which was unfortunate which was wrong it shouldn't have happened. Regarding the Shabil, I want to clear this as well in it and Tadriala he can prove me wrong and I have openly spoke about this on media channels. So it's not like I'm saying it here on behind closed doors. I've openly spoken about this on media channels. ਜਦੋਂ ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਬੀਲ ਲੱਗੀ ਉਹ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ਬੀਲ ਲਾਈ ਦੋ ਰਾਵਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਹਿਤੇ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ਬੀਲ ਲਾਈ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ 200 ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਚਲਾ ਕੇ ਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਗੱਡੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 200 ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਹੋਇਆ when the police arrested him they openly said yes we attacked ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂਵਾਲਾ and they've said as well that we'll do it again. The police took their weapons, police inspected their weapons and police gave them their weapons back. Then they went to ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂਵਾਲਾ. When ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂਵਾਲਾ was in his car, his driver, he had a licensed pistol. They goes, we're not accusing you of anything. We want to check your pistol. Obviously, ਜੇ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਗਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣੀ ਆ, he didn't give him his pistol. ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਪਿਸਤੌਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਪੋਸਟਮਾਰਟਮ ਵੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਭਾਈ ਭੁਪਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂਵਾਲੇ ਨੇ ਰਾਤੋਂ ਰਾਤ ਸੰਸਕਾਰ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ. Now the case is in the High Court. Who's the case done? Has ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂਵਾਲਾ done the case? No.
Is there a source? Is there a source for the case?
Like I've said, there's a source as well, and like I've said this openly on media channels. So I'm just repeating it.
Can you link
definitely. I'll bring it. It's not online. So let me finish, then I'll get back to it. ਜਦੋਂ ਭੁਪਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਦਾ ਸੰਸਕਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ afterwards, ਆਪਣੇ ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂਵਾਲਾ's driver, he's done the case. So there's 40 witnesses to the case, but ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂਵਾਲਾ is not one of those witnesses. If you put a case forward yourself, you cannot be a witness. So if ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂਵਾਲਾ put the case forward himself, then he couldn't be a witness, but he hasn't put the case forward himself. His driver's put the case forward himself, so he can be a witness. So the first question is, ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂਵਾਲਾ should have been the first witness. He should have said everything himself. And now my question is, this isn't in the case, this is my general question. Them boys 200 ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਚਲਾਈਆਂ, 200 ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਚਲਾਉਣ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਭੁਪਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਰਿਆ, 200 ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ, ਤੇ ਢੱਡੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਡਰਾਈਵਰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਬਚ ਗਏ? Now he can prove me wrong. ਕਚਹਿਰੀਆਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਤਾਂ ਪਾਣੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, they can prove me wrong. ਪੋਸਟਮਾਰਟਮ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣ, ਹਾਈ ਕੋਰਟ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਲਵੇ, and then they can prove me wrong.
No, I don't think ਵੀ conspiracy ਤਾਂ ਹੋ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ. I think unless ਜੀ courts ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਇਹਨੇ ਆਪਦੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਮਾਰੇ, I don't think ਵੀ conspiracy ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ.
One at a time, guys. Just one second. We have a lot of new users here who are unfamiliar.
We should talk in English. Sorry.
Yeah, in English, please. Yeah, so we have a lot of new users here who aren't very like that aware of people like Rivana, Neki, and their transgressions of what they've done. So it would be great if we could just quickly do a quick rundown of who they are and what the controversy surrounding them is, like what makes it worth discussing about them. So let's just quickly give a rundown of that.
Basically, Tadriyan was a Sikh Parcharik. He's been doing Parchar for over 20 years. For 16 years, he was preaching, obviously, of what our asula, what our ideologies are. He was doing the right Parchar. Then for the last 4 years, he took a U-turn, a complete U-turn. So the Parchar he was doing for the last 16 years, he's just been contradicting himself. He was saying, "Oh, I've been preaching wrong." He's gone to this extent. He has called Guru Granth Sahib a Jariya. He's even said that it's okay. Guru Granth Sahib can get drowned. Guru Granth Sahib can get burnt. Guru Granth Sahib can get stolen. It's not a guru, which our guru is knowledge, which completely he's shown disrespect to the Sikh community and to our Guru Sahibs. Then he's continuously attacked our Sikh history. He's attacked our central Kendri Sachkhand Sri Darbar Sahib, and throughout he's been slandering our saints and our basically jo sade maryada nijamya. He's been attacking our Sikh ideologies for the last 4 years. And Nicky is the same. Nicky is a radio host in New Zealand. He started off the same, and he's basically, but Tadriana has just been attacking our Sikh ideologies. Guru Granth Sahib ji, 10 gurus.
तो मैंने भी ਹੁਣ recently ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਛੇੜੀ ਸੀ 10 ਅੰਬਾਣੀ ਬਾਰੇ, that's the thing, ਇਹ ਦੋਨੇ ਇੱਕੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਹੈ.
Harpreet Singh, could you please explain who Toma is for the rest of the people?
I'm not gonna, it's gonna get more confusing in it, but I just want to say one thing. ਜੇ ਤੁਮੇ ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਛੇੜੀ ਵੀ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਮਾ ਕੋਈ ਭਗੌੜਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹ ਮਹਿਤੇ ਬੈਠਾ. ਜੇ ਢੱਡੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਛੇੜੀ ਤਾਂ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ 5 ਮੈਂਬਰੀ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਬਣਾਈ. They made a 5-member committee for him to sit down with. I mean, if Tumma said something, then he's still in Meta, and anyone can go to Meta and speak to Tumma. But Tatiyala, if he says something, he's got like 3 types of security around him, innit?
Okay, Baji, could you explain who Tumma is so the rest of the people understand?
The reason why Tumma is still in Punjab is because he has links to Badal. KPS, he made KPS Gill happy. People know this. You can listen to Surinder Singh.
Wait, Harpreet Singh, do you want to explain who Tumma is in the first place so people understand?
Tumma is a citizen of Seattle, and he's an American citizen. He's on an indefinite visa in Punjab. He has links to the central government.
I'm happy to reply, but is this part of your show today? I'm happy to reply.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just giving a rundown of who Tumma is, like just the main players.
I'm about to go into Tumma, but then that's gonna have nothing to do with Tatiana Neki or what you Sikh Parchar.
Can you just give like a very brief rundown so when people hear the words Tumma or whatever, they can understand who it is, so they don't get it mixed up.
Papa Harnam Singh Tumma, he's the head of Mehta Chowk in Amritsar. I was about to say Dhamd Meeting Saad the Mukhi, but obviously ਉਹ ਗੱਲ clear ਨਹੀਂ, ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਿਆ. ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ KPS Gill ਦੀ, I've heard it as well. Surinder Singh ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ. My family, our background is from the Sikh Sangharish in it, so we know what happened in Mehta. We know exactly what went down in that. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, first thing ਜਦੋਂ KPS Gill ਉੱਥੇ ਮਹਿਤੇ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਬਾਬਾ ਠਾਕਰ ਸਿੰਘ wasn't there. ਨਾ ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ, ਨਾ ਬਾਕੀ ਹੋਰ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਮੌਜੂਦਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੇ. In those days, after 84, ਮਹਿਤੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਪੱਕੀ ਇੱਕ ਮਿਲਟਰੀ ਦੀ ਬੈਰਕ ਸੀਗੀ. Like we speaking about KPS Gill going down and doing a ਛਾਪਾ, ਉੱਥੇ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਦੂਜੇ ਤੀਏ ਦਿਨ ਛਾਪਾ ਪੈ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ. So sometimes they'll just pick up a student, take him to prison, ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਸਿੱਟ ਦੇਣਾ, ਜਾਂ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ. But there was 100%, it was a military barrack outside of Mehta. So ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਛਾਪਾ ਮਾਰਨਾ, ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਉੱਥੇ, it was a common thing, especially after 84, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਖਾੜਕੂ ਸੂਰਬੀਰ ਯੋਧੇ ਉਹ ਮੈਤੇ ਨਿਕਲੇ, ਜਾਂ ਦੋ ਰਾਵਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ, ਏਜੰਸੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਬੰਦੇ ਫਿੱਟ ਸੀਗੇ obviously we had agent house and that as well ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਵੀ KPS ਗਿੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਸੱਦ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਹ ਝੂਠੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ ਔਰ ਮੌਕੇ ਦੇ ਗਵਾਹ ਵੀ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ I mean I don't know where you guys are from but there's a ਭਾਈ ਲਖਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ he's in USA he was there as well ਇਹਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਵੀ ਪੋਥੀਆਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਭਾਈ ਖੁਸ਼ਵੰਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਮੰਗੀਆਂ ਸੀਗਾ ਪਰ KPS ਗਿੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਸਰੋਪਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ and I would like to repeat again 84 ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਆ ਮਹਿਤੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਪੱਕੀ ਇੱਕ ਮਿਲਟਰੀ ਦੀ ਬੈਰਕ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਪੁਲਿਸ they used to raid ਮਹਿਤਾ every other day ਕਦੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਚੱਕ ਲੈਣੇ ਕਦੇ ਕੁਛ ਕਰ ਲੈਣੇ yeah that's my response
Just to summarize who Tumma is, so after the Shahidi of Sant Jana Singh Ji, Pindranwale, Taksal was headed by Sant Baba Thakar Singh Ji, who called themselves the Mukh Sevadar. They never called themselves the leader of Taksal, they called themselves the Mukh Sevadar. So after Jado O Sachkhand chale gaye sige, then many other like Baba Ram Singh ho gaye, right, Mukhi, Tumma, so many people declared themselves Jathedar of Taksal, so leader of Taksal. So and Tumma is one of them. Tumma is the one who heads Mehta Chowk, the headquarters of Taksal during Sant Kartar Singh Ji Pindranwale, the predecessor of Sant Jana Singh Ji Pindranwale's, where they moved the Taksal. So he heads that Mehta. So that's who Tumma is.
Yeah.
So this there's actually Tumma had a lot of power. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
A lot, man. Just one quick, just one sentence.
Look at Jaswinder Singh, man, from California. This man,
exactly.
he's in jail right now.
I know these things extended.
ਬੇਅਦਬੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਸਾਫ ਆ ਸਤਕਾਰ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਦੇ not with Tumma and they're not with anyone they did an inquiry themselves ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪ ਝੂਠਾ ਸਾਬਤ ਹੋਇਆ that even went up to him they goes ਭਰਾਵਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠ ਲੈ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੱਖ ਤਾਂ ਦੱਸ ਤੇ ਬੈਠਾ ਨਹੀਂ if you doing look ਜੇ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਬੇਅਦਬੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਗਲਤ ਆ
Video. He posted a video of it happening, man.
ਤੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਇੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਅਗਲੇ ਦਾ ਥੱਲਾ ਲਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੀ ਗੋਸ ਵੀ ਐਂਡ ਹੀ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨਡ ਐਸ ਵੈਲ ਵੀ 500 ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਗੁੱਟ ਕੇ ਛਪੇ ਆ ਬਾਕੀ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੋ ਹੋਰ ਫਿਰ ਲਿਆਵੇ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਫ਼ ਮੰਨ ਗਿਆ 31 ਨੰਬਰ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਫ਼ ਮੰਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਫੇਸਟ ਬੋਲੇ ਨੇ where we going now whoever the main guy is here it's got nothing to do with Sikhi Parchar or nothing I'm happy to carry on but if it's part of your like
let's just stay on topic Baji for the Sangat all right so we're just gonna quickly get into a few Q&A questions before we continue on so one of the questions is from Sarabjit Singh asks he says Babaji, so I'm assuming he's talking about Tadriwala. So what he's saying is that Tadriwala has gotten many people back into Sikhi. He's asking what has the SGPC done to get people back into Sikhi, and he's saying that all they have been doing is using the funds for themselves and the badals and not Sikhi. So that's what Sarabjit Singh is saying.
Every Wednesday and Saturday there's a Amrit Sanchar Sri Akal Takht Sahib and no less than 500 people take Amrit there every Wednesday and Saturday. You can go check the list as well.
Yeah, I can confirm.
Every Wednesday and Saturday. And Sikhi Parchar, obviously they've got Parchariks worldwide, Darbar Sahib, ਇਤਿਹਾਸਕ ਸਥਾਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਕਥਾ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਪੂਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ ਸਵੇਰ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮੇ ਦੀ ਕਥਾ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਦੀ ਕਥਾ so they've got all the historical ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ on the SGPC so ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਾੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਚੰਗੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਕੋਈ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ there's a lot of Sikhi Parchar now especially in this day and age because of the internet as well
it's also the Sangat, right? That okay, so the people are making the point that bought Sangat Sikhi only because of him, right? That he encourages people to come and Sikhi. But the thing is, what kind of Sikhi is he encouraging? That's the crucial part.
That's the thing, innit? Because why is he just contradicted himself for the last 4 years for what he said in the 16 years? He just cut everything off. ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਾਉਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਅੰਦਰ ਪਾਣੀ ਆ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਲਓ ਤੇ ਆਪੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਬਣ ਜਾਊਗਾ so
and the thing is we don't need numbers man we need to we never been about quality in our history
like I said before ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮੇਰਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਆ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ
exactly it's never been about quantity for us for our history it's always been about quality right so the point about him bringing people it's not a point at all right it's not a point
All right, if anyone has any questions that they would like for the Q&A, feel free to put them in the question box and then we'll get them answered. One question from Harman Singh is that he was talking to his mother. He's saying a big critique that he's heard from others too is that these fake Parchariks are speaking logically and that all their criticisms are politically motivated by people who work for Badal. So how do we convince these people otherwise?
I have a question.
तो मैनू कड्डो बस
I have a question. How could we picture Sant Gyani Jarnail Singh Ji Khalsa Prandrale doing what Baba Tama has done in these pictures that I posted in text for voice?
Of course not.
Hey, look, another thing, right? One of these photos has that patne wala jathedar, right? इन्हों हरी shake किया क्यों नहीं किया?
By the way, just to
Jada-
describe it for everyone
Yeah,
who's
ਇੱਕ
listening,
ਮਿੰਟ
the
ਇੱਕ ਮਿੰਟ
photos
ਇੱਕ
that he
ਮਿੰਟ ਜੇ ਤਾਂ
posted
ਹੁਣ ਆ
are
ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਇਹ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਹਾਸੋਹੀਣੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਆ ਯੂ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਜੇ ਪਟਨਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਛੇਕਿਆ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਈਕ ਆਈਵ ਜਸਟ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨਡ my father Baba Baldev Singh they've been doing Amar Sanchar Seva for the last 30 years they've got 50 letters together ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਦਾ ਮਸਲਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਇਕਬਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਛੇਕੋ ਉਹ ਮਸਲਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ have they taken this ਮਸਲਾ ਤੇ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ
yes,
ਤਖਤ
yes. I have a Khand ki itni jatha
कौन
has sent 10 letters over the past
Mate,
15
not
years.
that-
15 years.
you
15,
know,
15
have you
years.
been there yourself? Have you gone to
If
My
there?
you
dad,
can do it.
my
I'm
my
saying
One at a
Babu
time.
has
My brother, one
look,
at a time.
look.
One at a time.
one
Please.
at a time, bro.
Baji.
Look, I know
one at a time.
I know Singhs here who have met Iqbal Singh, Patnewala, and Gurbachana personally in the same room. They told him, "Asi, we're not going to stop until this guy is get out of the pump." This was like 10 years ago. So yes, we have brought Akal Takht Sahib. They have done nothing. They've sent 10 letters.
ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਦੂਜੀ ਵਾ ਇਕਬਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ said obviously ਉਹਨੇ ਚਾਪਲੂਸੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਆ he said that way ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਰਾਮਚੰਦਰ ਦੇ ਤੇ they've come down from ਰਾਮਚੰਦਰ ਉਹ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਲਵ ਕੁਸ਼ ਦੀ ਸੋਢੀ ਤੇ ਬੇਦੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਭਾਂਤ 10 in 10 ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਇਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਤੇ ਸੰਤ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ you just mentioned one of the lads mentioned ਸੰਤ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਸੰਤ
No,
ਜਰਨੈਲ
I'm
ਸਿੰਘ
not denying that.
ਵਾਲੇ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਆ
denying that.
ਵੱਖਰੀ ਕੌਮ ਆ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂ ਰਾਮਚੰਦਰ ਦੇ
No.
ਉਪਾਸ਼ਕ ਨਹੀਂ
ਅਸੀਂ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਏ I agree with that. I agree with that.
I agree with that.
regarding like the pictures you
Guys,
mentioned
one
of
at a
Baba
time, guys.
Harnam
Otherwise,
Singh,
we're gonna have to start muting people. One at a time.
ਜਿਹੜੇ
Yes,
ਆਪਣੇ
go ahead,
you mentioned
Jagpal
pictures of ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ obviously ਸੰਤ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਉਹ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਨੇ obviously like he said ਨੇ all point is ਦੇ ਠੀਕ ਆ ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਾਦਲਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਗਿਆ ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਜਾਂ ਜੋ ਵੀ like he said ਹੋਇਆ ਪਰ ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ has ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ today said things like this like ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜਰੀਆ ਆ ਚੋਰੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਡੁੱਬ ਸਕਦਾ ਸੜ ਸਕਦਾ ਉਹ ਸਿੱਖ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਏਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਸਟੇਟਮੈਂਟ ਦਿੱਤੇ
I agree ਜਿਹੜਾ ਢੱਡਰੀਆਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪੰਥ ਚੋਂ ਛੇਕਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ I agree with you brother.
ਆਪਣੇ ਸਰਨੇ ਨੂੰ ਭਜਾਇਆ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਚੋਂ so like there's you know Sant Janel Singh they mentioned in the speech isn't it ਜਦੋਂ ਬਾਬੇ ਬਕਾਲੇ ਗੋਲੀ ਚੱਲੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਰਾਮੂ ਵਾਲੀਆ spoke on stage ਰਾਮੂ ਵਾਲੀਆ mentioned that 17 opposition parties ਵੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਹਮਾਇਤ ਚ ਆ ਗਏ ਆ Sant Janel Singh ਉਹ ਸਟੇਜ ਤੇ ਬੋਲੇ ਸੀ these all recorded speeches you can hear them for yourselves in it Sant Janel Singh mentioned ਵੀ ਬੜੀ ਚੰਗੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਵੀ 17 opposition ਪਾਰਟੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਹਮਾਇਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਈਆਂ ਹਨ ਪਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਇੱਕ ਸਵਾਲ ਆ ਦੇਖੋ if I was ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਲਾਂਗਰੀ ਹੋਵਾਂ ਦੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੋਣ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਦੋ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਹੋਣ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਤੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਥਾਲੀ ਮੈਂ ਭਰ ਦਵਾਂ ਹਿੰਦੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਥਾਲੀ ਮੈਂ ਖਾਲੀ ਰਹਿਣ ਦਵਾਂ ਤੇ ਨਾ go back into the kitchen and ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕਣ and they'll look at the Hindus and their plates are empty and they'll say to the Hindus ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਦੁੱਖ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੇਇਨਸਾਫੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਤਾਲਸ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਭੁੱਖ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੱਗੀ ਆ they'll keep on eating but they won't give anything out of their own plate and they won't put anything out of their own plate into their plate they'll have the ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਰ ਜਾਣ and another ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਪੰਗਤ ਬੈਠੀ ਦੋ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਦੋ two Sikhs again ਸੰਤ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਫੇਰ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦੇ ਵਰਤਾ ਦਵਾਂਗਾ and the Sikhs these Sikhs they say to the Hindus we don't agree with you but you're hungry so we can see you're hungry here take one prashada out of my plate ਸੰਤ mention ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਹਿਮਤੀ ਨਾਲ ਪ੍ਰਗਟਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਨਾ ਸਹਿਮਤੀ ਨਾਲ if someone agrees with us or disagree with us we're going to look at who's putting prashade into our plate now ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਧਰਮ ਦੇ ਹੱਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ whoever we disagree with him or we don't disagree with him like Sant Janel Singh used to say as well ਜਿੱਥੇ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀ ਇਲਾਕਾ ਉੱਜੜ ਜਾਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਉੱਜੜ ਜਾਵੇ ਪਰ ਧਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਜੇ ਠੀਕ ਆ ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਾਦਲਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਗਏ ਪਰ ਜੇ ਬਾਬੇ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਸਰਨੇ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਤੋਂ ਭਜਾਇਆ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ if ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ has stopped Nindiks from doing ਕਥਾ ਮੰਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ then ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਹਿੱਤਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ then I don't really think there's no ਬੇਲੋੜੇ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ and it's not just ਬਾਬਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ
it's not ਬੇਲੋੜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਭਾਈ
ਚੱਲ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਆ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦੇ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਉਹਦਾ ਪੱਕੇ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਦੇ ਨਿਕਲੇ ਆਏ। ਸੋ who we be gonna go? ਬਾਬੇ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਝੱਟ ਚੱਕ ਲੈਂਦੇ, ਜਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਦੂਜੀਆਂ ਲੀਡਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਕੋ। I don't think there's a lead out there today that's not affiliated with a party. So my view is straight, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ
No, ਹੈਗੇ ਚੰਗੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਹਜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਰਹਿਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਭਾਈ ਰਣਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨਰਕਧਾਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਠੋਕਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਹਜੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ।
ਭਾਈ ਰਣਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸੰਤ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਉਲਟਿਆ। He's clearly said, I disagree with Sant Jarnail Singh. Bhai Ranjit Singh, when he was Jathedar of Sri Akal Takht Sahib, every year we celebrate, not celebrate, sorry, we remember the 6th June Shaheed Day. ਜਦੋਂ ਭਾਈ ਰਣਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਰਿਹਾ, what's the first thing he did? He stopped the Shahidi Smagas on the 6th of June. Those two things, we respect him. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੁਰਬਾਨੀ ਉਹਨੇ ਕੀਤੀ, ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਿਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ, ਪਰ ਉਹਨੇ ਖੁੱਲ ਕੇ ਸਟੇਟਮੈਂਟ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਆ, ਖੁੱਲ ਕੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ। ਮੇਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਸੰਤ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਲਦੇ ਸੀ, he doesn't believe in ਸੰਤ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ। ਤੇ ਦੂਜੀ ਗੱਲ, ਜਦੋਂ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ, he stopped the 6 June programs, and ਇੱਥੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਉਹਨੇ ਬਿਆਨ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਕਿਰਪਾਨ ਧਾਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ 'ਚ ਫੜਕਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਣਾ। And at the time he was a proper sport of ਬਾਦਲ। ਜਦੋਂ ਬਾਦਲਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਬਾਦਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗਾਲਾਂ ਕੱਢਣ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ, ਲਾਈਕ ਅ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡ। ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਬਾਦਲ ਚੰਗਾ, ਜਦੋਂ ਲਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਫਿਰ ਬਾਦਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗਾਲਾਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ।
I don't know if that's true, man.
Like I said, my family from when he came out of prison, ਬਾਬਾ ਠਾਕਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਬੜੇ ਲੰਮੇ ਸਿਰ ਇਹ ਜੇਲ੍ਹ ਕੱਟ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ ਵੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰੀਏ। And in the newspapers of the time, ਉਹਨੇ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਬਿਆਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਸੰਤ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਸਹਿਮਤੀ ਸੀ। Regarding the 6 June thingies, I've got a family video from ਮਹਿਤਾ ਚੌਂਕ, ਉਹ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਸਮਾਗਮ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਦਮਦਮੀ ਟਕਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰਗਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ। So I've got it on VCR, I can like you put it on YouTube or something, that's about it. ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਦੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਰਹੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਸੀਗੇ।
ਭਾਜੀ ਰਣਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਬੱਬਰ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਹਨਾ?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, bro.
I think he was affiliated with Akhand Kirtani Jatha.
Yeah, they don't agree with Sanjana Singh ji. Yeah, that's believable. Yeah, they don't agree.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੰਦੂਕਾਂ
I know about the beef prior to 84. That makes sense.
One thing in I say to you brothers as well, at this moment in time we should stick to our dharm, Guru Granth Sahib, 10 ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ। ਇਸ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਜੋ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੰਗ ਆ। ਸੋ all of us we should ਗਿਲੇ ਸ਼ਿਕਵੇ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਜੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਲੈ ਸਿੱਕਾ ਮਾਰਿਆ, ਜਗਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਪੰਥ ਚਲਾਇਆ, ਉਸ ਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ we should all get together and do ਸਿੱਖੀ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ at this moment in time. That's the biggest need.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one much, man. But the thing is, I can't get myself to support them, man. Kuch marji ho jaye, because he does have a suspicious,
ਵਿਰੋਧ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਰ ਬੇਲੋੜੇ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੋੜ। ਜੇ ਧਰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਤਾਂ
ਵਿਰੋਧ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੁਣ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੁਣ ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਕੈਲੀਫੋਰਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ, right? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋਗੇ, you all know who he is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he also has a suspicion. I've met him multiple times in real life. It's ਸਾਡਾ local ਬੰਦਾ, right?
Yeah.
And I know him from his family. I know his kids. Kirtan Gita, right? Chote, and they speak Hindi and stuff like that, right? But his entry into the Sikh Panth is very suspicious. Padla, like he
I agree 100%, bro. I agree with you 100%.
he came into the Panth as a pracharak, right? Even mere jede ustad sige, they're affiliated with Damdami Taksal, right? And they also said the same thing. He has people who pay him online to do his classes, and these people come into the Panth. They take Panthic stands, but they also
a full recording of him and Nikki as well.
Yeah. I think I've heard that one. But my main point is that what they do is they take Panthic stands and they act Panthic, but they cause Bhavavad in the Panth.
Yeah, like if even in them bases, ਜਦੋਂ ਪੰਥ ਦੇ ਹਿੱਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ, there's no need to support them properly, but like there's no need to ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੋੜ। ਜੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਤਾਂ like ਸਾਡਾ ਹੀ ਕੰਮ ਸੌਖਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਹੈ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ? ਜੇ ਪੰਥ ਦੇ ਹਿੱਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸ਼ਰਾਰਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ, ਫਿਰ ਲਾਈਕ ਉਹ ਜੋ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੀ ਆ। ਪਰ my view is personally, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਧਰਮ ਦੇ ਹੱਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਕੌਮ ਦੇ ਫੈਸਲੇ ਕੌਮ ਦੇ ਪੱਖ 'ਚ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਆ, ਫਾਇਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਲੈ ਜਾਵੇ।
Yeah, that makes sense.
How long is this server gonna go? Are we gonna do more about Parcharo?
Yeah, we can
So I was
go
gonna
as long
quickly
as you guys want.
So basically, so we've talked about doing Parchar, right, and bringing Jira matlab keh lo, the dirt, the gand that Tadriyawala has spread. We need to clean it up. We need to get together as a panth and clean it up. So let's start by doing it locally. Let's start by this Discord. Now, is there anyone in this voice chat now? Like, don't hesitate. You can DM me if you don't want to do it publicly. Is there anyone in this VC right now who either supports Tadri or maybe just his views that they think that, you know what, he said a good point there. I want to raise that point. If you want to raise that point, please raise it now, and we can discuss it nicely. And we won't shout at you, nothing like that. And you can DM me if you want. All right. So please, very important. Just DM me or say it now.
I've got a question. So I don't know any of these Parchariks because I don't listen to the ones in Punjabi because my Punjabi is not great. But the question I have is, we're talking about fake Parchariks and shutting people down. The question is, surely, I mean, who is the right authority to be shutting somebody down, or should we actually be encouraging discussion? I mean, we're having this discussion now. And then sorry, can I just finish, because I've listened loads to.
Go ahead, sir.
So surely we need to have a bit of an environment where we are able to encourage discussion, where people can say, "Look, you know, I've read this from Gurbani, and this is my interpretation of what I'm reading. And yes, I might make a mistake, okay, because I'm human. I can make a mistake, but it is subject. You can have any wording anywhere, down to any type of interpretation, particularly given how complex Gurbani is. It's in so many different languages. It's then been written in Gurmukhi, and obviously there's a passage of time. So there's lots of different interpretations that can be taken of lots of things that you might read either in Gurbani or even elsewhere, generally in life. Surely we should be encouraging this sort of discussion, and where we disagree with certain interpretations people might be giving, we then need to be able to come up with, as people are here today, sources and evidence of an alternative view as such.
So I understand where you're coming from. There's actually a system of having one interpretation of Gurbani, which is Gurbani grammar. There is a grammar system used in Gurbani which is independent of any language. Guru Sahib made a brand new grammar system just for Gurbani, called Gurbani Vyakaran. Using that, we can make one art. And many of the arts Tadriwala does of Gurbani, they're galt according to, they're wrong according to Gurbani grammar. So that's one of the main things we can use.
I'd just like to add to that, once you finished, just let me know.
Yeah, sure. So there's actually a course being done on Gurbani grammar if you're interested in that. But like, if you really want to do like correct interpretations, there's actually a method for that. I'm done.
Yeah, Tadriyawala's issue isn't about interpretation, because we've got many tikas in the panth, and they don't go outside with each other. But it's not an issue like so interpretation isn't really the issue when it comes to Tadriyawala. Tadriyawala's main purpose is he's going against the philosophy of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. His main objective is to attack the philosophy. So like I said, there's many people that have done interpretations of Gurbanis. It's never been an issue. But Tadriyawala, like we said before, first of all, to be honest, he can't even do an interpretation because he isn't educated religiously, nor is he educated worldly. So first of all, if someone wants to become a Gyani that does interpretations of Tika, so first of all, he needs to learn how to read Guru Granth Sahib. Then he needs to learn, like what a brother just said, like Pingal, Vyakaran, Jyotish, or Jo kuch bhi jitho arth bande sare. He has to learn how to be a Kathavachik. Then he has to learn Sikh history. So about 10-15 years, just like if someone wants to become a doctor or professor, he has to go through nursery, he has to go through reception, primary school, secondary, college, sixth form, university, then he can be a doctor. So there is a system in place. If you want to obviously start interpretation Bani, there is a system which Tadriyawala hasn't gone through. So to be honest, it comes down to the fact that he's unqualified to do Parchar. So,
well, yes, sorry, but just again, I don't know intimately how the institutions in Punjab are built up, but as far as I understand, there aren't any formal qualifications that are required.
There are.
I'd like to speak on this.
Guys, please let Pritpal Singh speak. Let Pritpal Singh speak. Go ahead, Pritpal Singh.
I've seen many over the years. I've seen many Granthis who have turned up at our Gurdwaras in the UK, where maybe they only know certain types of Bani because it's a because it's a Gurdwara who've been using it as a scam to get people on visas to come out over to the UK and stuff like that. So there isn't a system. So it's all very well you're sort of saying Dodriavala or whoever else isn't qualified, but we've got people. I see people regularly at the Gurdwara who aren't qualified because I can do more Gurbani. I can do more Bani than they can. So
I'll answer that after
I
after my
definitely don't know
brother.
very much
After
at
my
all.
brother.
So we need to trust that the system, that the institutions that we have, you call them Jatha Sampradas, right? Gyani Samprada or Taksa, whatever you want to call it, is Sina Bisina. Sina Bisina means that there's a direct line from Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. There's a direct line coming down. That knowledge is coming down, and in my understanding is that no one had the courage to change it. Okay? So if you want to call it Gyani Samprada or you want to call it Taksal, Jo Marji, we know that knowledge is coming down from Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And all the Jathe, look at the Nahangdas, their TK or the TK from Taksal is generally the same. They provide many different arts. They provide, many different meanings for each Pankti in Gurbani, right? Because they're looking at it from different aspects. But that is passed down. That's passed down. And what Tadriawala and Nikki are going against is going against the core philosophy of the meanings that we have of Gurbani that have been passed down from Ustad, from teacher to student, from teacher to student. And like there is quite a formal education system in place, like Virji said, that it takes 15 years to become 20 years to become a Kathavachik. It takes time to study, it takes time to learn these arts, it takes time to learn Santhya and the Vyakaran, right? So there is a system in place, even if that system is not really apparent within the Granthi Singhs at your local Gurdwara, that system is still there.
Yeah, 100% Damti Mirsal started by Guru Gobind Singh, one and only. Regarding to apna the question my brother was asking, when Sri Akal Takht Sahib da Jathedar Gyani Harpreet Singh came here to the UK, and this question was asked to them by the Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, and they said to them, "Be detail." Basically, there is a system in place even today at Sri Akal Takht Sahib. If a Granthi Singh can read from a Hath-likt Puratan bead, he's given a certificate of a Granthi Singh, and Sri Akal Takht Sahib Jathedar said to the committee members, it's up to you to ask the Granthi Singhs. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੁੱਛਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਓਗੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੁਧਾਰ ਆਪੇ ਹੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ, so everything's in place. So at Sri Akal Takht Sahib, if you can read from a Hath-likt Puratan bead, then you're considered as a Granthi Singh or Patti Singh. Obviously, it's a Ladiwar Sroop and it's a handwritten Sroop. So then you're given a certificate. So it's up to us, or obviously committee members, to start asking for those requirements.
All right, go ahead, Harpreet Singh.
Okay, so the main thing is, so Damdami Taksal, Nihang Singh, they have lineage to Guru Gobind Singh Ji. But I don't think that alone is a good argument for what Pratipal Virji asked us, is whether or not who's an authority on Sikh interpretations, right? So the thing is, if you listen to Sant Singh Ji Maskeen, right, he was from missionary background, and one thing that he says that also resonated with Sant Baba Gurbachan Singh Ji Pindrale is what Sant Singh Maskeen says, is that when he was doing Katha at one Avasta, he later on tried to do the same Katha, and he had a completely different explanation, because based off of his own buddhi and his own avastha at that time, he had difference of opinion, right? So what Sant Gurbachan Singh Pindrale said was the reason why they did not do a handwritten complete Sampuran Katha is because Sant Gurbachan Singh Pindrale is universally respected in the Sikh Panth. And he said that Kadlanu in maybe 100 years, 200 years, I don't know how many 100 years in the future, be Gurbani, Jugo, Atala, right? And as new ages come, there might be different interpretations. But the thing is, what is not the problem is discourse of interpretation of Gurbani. What is a problem is when people who have no respect at all for the institution of Gurbani Ko, Vyakaran, all these things that Sarya ne discuss kite, right? And all these systems of interpretation, Samparday, right? Nirmala Tika, right? The Faridkot Tika, right? So that's a different interpretation as well. Professor Saab Singh Diab, the interpretation of this and that, right? So these are all within respective. You can have a discussion based off of Gurmat, right? But what these people do is they completely say, "Hey, sara ko should be Brahmanwada, this and that," and there's no really standard of respect of Gurbani and your fellow Sikh. So that's the most important thing. The problem is not there's only one type of interpretation that Guru Gobind Singh Ji approves, and the other one is not, right? That's not a right interpretation, in my opinion, because the fark barikiyan ch bahut zyada fark ho sakda hai. And even within Jathas, people can have differences of opinions of Gurbani, you know? So the main thing is create a culture of respect for our institutions and create those institutions in the West, because we're not doing a good job, in my opinion, of promoting this culture, you know?
Yeah,
So,
just to come back at Sant Gurbachan Singh, yeah, Sant Gurbachan Singh didn't write the Tika because they mentioned, they go, Je Guru Gobind Singh ne aap nahi likhya, then who am I to write a Tika in it?
yeah,
Coming back to ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦਮਦਮੀ ਟਕਸਾਲ ਆ ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲੀ ਦੇ ਹੋਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਅਰਥ ਕੀਤੇ ਆ ਦੇ ਉਹੀ ਅਰਥ ਗਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਹਾਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆ ਆਪ ਆਪਣੀ ਬੁੱਧ ਹੈ ਜੇਤੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿਦਵਾਨ ਦਿਖਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੰਤ ਗੁਰਬਚਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਕਥਾ they've done is the katha that I've heard from Sant Sundar Singh Ji, and Sant Sundar Singh Ji is done it from Baba Bishan Singh Ji, so it goes all the way back to Guru Gobind Singh Ji ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਅਰਥ ਕੀਤੇ. They've preserved those art, and I just quickly want to ask our brother, is he happy with the answer I gave? Sri Akal Takht Sahib, there is a institution in place, there is a proper way in place for Granthi Singhs who are educated to come out, and obviously we know our committee mans they 100% of hera feri kar jande, but there is a place like if you want a certificate from Sri Akal Takht Sahib, you have to be able to read from a Puratan bead, Hath Likht, Ladiwar Beer, then you're classified as a party Singh, then you're allowed to do part. Obviously, all committee members, they're not asking for those certificates. So I just want to clarify, are you happy with that, or you want me to go further in?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, for you, Britwal Singh,
Yeah, no, so I fully understand that obviously the Akal Takht should be the place where all of this direction comes from and authority comes from. But the trouble is, for example, who is the Akal Takht Jathedar at the moment? Don't we still currently have two?
No. Obviously, Gyani Harpreet Singh Ji, they're the Jathedar.
and I'd like to say he's impressed me. Like, I think he's fulfilling the role of Jathedar Singh Sahib very well.
100%.
Haji,
just a quick reminder, if anyone else has any points they'd like to bring up against what we've been saying, so maybe you think that Guruji was a normal human, maybe you have this doubt in your mind that I can't get around miracles or anything like that, don't hesitate at all. Ask on the voice, because now is the chance for you to get your answers. Exactly. Any doubts you have, we can clear them now.
And if you guys have any other questions, you can put them in the question box. So one of the questions from Harinder Singh is, so he says, when someone is summoned to Akal Takht, it's done in person. He's asking, is there a process to take advantage of the internet, such as like Zoom, since Sikhi is a worldwide religion, like a trial by internet basically, especially probably now because of COVID, right? So what do you guys think of that? Does it have to be done in person, or can it be done online now? What do you guys think?
Yeah, it should be done in person, because a person onu chal ke sharan ch pehna chahida, ja ke should do the darshan of Darbar Sahib, matha take ke ja ke, and he should personally go there as well. Like sometimes even ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ, if we heard someone's ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਦੁਨਿਆਵੀ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਵੀ heard someone's house, ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਚੱਲ ਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ, especially we got to see him like in it. So Sri Akal Takht Sahib, if someone's summoned, even like in a judge, for example, if someone's caught stealing, or if someone's caught doing something, he has to, or kacheri ch pesh hunda hai, he has to be at the court in it. Same as the Akal Takht Sahib, so jehda mukh doshi hai, he has to turn up. He
Yeah, I
should
agree
go
with
and
that.
he has to turn up there at Sri Akal Takht Sahib.
And it's very fair too, because Jathedar Sahib, they use scholars.
Queen or something, some superior higher authority. You don't just, it's not calling your boy on Zoom. You should be going in person. This isn't some like kind of small thing when you're someone.
ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ you have to go in person ਇਹ ਮਰਿਆਦਾ ਬੰਨੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੰਜ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਇਹ ਪੰਜ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਪੇਸ਼ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ another thing is that I don't know if this maryada is kept now but anything said has to be kept gupt, it has to be kept private. That was the maryada too. If you did a big pop, let's say like you did like one of the budget rats, right? You went page to Akal Takht Sahib. The Akal Takht Sahib has to keep that stuff private unless they make it public that you are not part of the Panth anymore. If they accept your apology, anything said in that room is kept private, and only the people the Panth Singh Sahib one should know. I don't know if that's kept now, but that's Maryada. You have to go.
Just add to that. Basically, if someone does a budget karet, he doesn't really need to go to Akal Takht Sahib. He has to go to the Panj Pyare or Amar Sanchar. And
I was giving an example.
Obviously, if they can't release anything, but he has to go to the Panj Pyare, not Panj Singh Saban, jede Amar Shakaun there, he has to go to them. And obviously, like you said, bro, Maryada ya, they can't let anyone know. Jinni marzi sakht to sakht saja sana sakde ya, but oda pap, they can't tell no one else like.
Yeah. I didn't mean like just Akal Takht Sahib like pesh, but like if you like a big like Panthik pop, then like
Adriana hoya ja idan narankari.
Yeah, like if Akal Takht Sahib does sadda to you, you have to go.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so the next question.
I want a sadda, man. Mera ji karda jaan nu. Like sahi hata.
All right.
Stuck in COVID, man. India jaan nu ji karda.
Guys, the next question is from Sarbjeet Singh. He says, didn't Driwana challenge Jathedar to TV debate, and should the Jathedar Sahib do it?
No.
So that's the question.
It's a big bahut baddi sajish hai. It's a proper, like, it's beyond our thinking. Jathedar Sahib, the reason he's saying what Jathedar Sahib should sit down with me on TV is because he wants to make an example. So let's say tomorrow, if someone else takes a complaint to Sri Akal Takht Sahib, they'll use Tadriyanwala as an example, and they'll say, look, oh masla channel te gaya, sada kyun nahi ja sakda, sajish kiya. He wants to take our panthic issues to channels. I mean, look, you've got court systems. When a judge accuses or jado sunwai karda bhi you've been caught stealing and this is your punishment, he doesn't run to no TV channel and say, oh, I want the judge to prove me on the TV channel, then I'll go to prison. No. Panthic masale adona Sri Akal Takht Sahib, not at channels. Jathedar Sri Akal Takht Sahib, it's all of these like tricks he's playing is to attack or decrease the image of Sri Akal Takht Sahib.
Yeah, 100%.
The authority, 100%.
Yeah. Authority, that's it.
Because imagine ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ like ਕੋਈ ਆਮ ਬੰਦਾ Trump ਨੂੰ ਕਹੇ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ TV ਤੇ debate ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, and Trump answers and says ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ, ਇਹ ਤਾਂ America ਦੀ ਬੇਇੱਜ਼ਤੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ. It's the same concept, man. They should never, like, who is he to summon Sri Akal Takht Sahib? That doesn't make any sense, man. Karna nahi chahiye.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And just a quick, just to answer the question as well. So, yeah, look, he's already been asked to come. Like Chimkar Singh said, he's been asked to come. The actual process of Akal Takht Sahib, when they send a letter to you twice, right? He didn't respond.
Three times.
Sorry, three times. There you go. So he had his chance more than enough times. He didn't come on purpose, right? So that's his own fault.
All right.
Now there's an.
Sorry. Just to get
New
to the
question,
next question, guys. Just a reminder, if you guys have any questions, put in the question box. If you have any private questions, you can message me or Gagan Singh. All right, so the next question is from Gurkiran Singh from the UK. So he says, what exactly were the gurus? Why are they different from Mahapuraks who were Jivan Mukt? And if everything is Vaheguru, then why are we as humans / Manmuks any different other than Maya? So that's the question he has.
First of all, Jeda Satpurish, obviously we've cleared that Guru Sahib is Akal Purkhs themselves. And Jeda Satpurish Ban Janda, when someone becomes a Brahm Gyani, Har Jandu Ek hai, Bebe Vichar Kashna, he becomes into the one. So him and Parmeshwar, there's no difference. har ka sevak so har jeha ਭੇਦ ਨਾ ਜਾਣੋ ਮਾਨਸ ਜਿਹਾ। When someone does ਕਮਾਈ, they become God themselves, ਉਹ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਦਾ ਰੂਪ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ। But obviously ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਦੇ ਬਰਾਬਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਕਰਦੇ, ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਆ, ਹੈ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ। ਉਹ ਥੱਲੇ ਆ, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਆ, ਫਿਰ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਪਰ ਵਾਸਤਵ ਸਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਨ ਰਿਐਲਿਟੀ ਉਹ ਇੱਕਮਿਕ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ। And I didn't get the last bit about Gurmukh, Manmukh and Maya.
Yeah, so he basically says if everything is Vaheguru, then why are we as humans any different other than Maya? That's what he says. So he says, you know how we say like Vaheguru is all pervading and everything, Vaheguru Sab Govinda Govinda Hai Koi. He says if we're all
And
Vaheguru,
he has to,
why are we any
May I
different
answer
from the
this?
Gurus? He's saying,
yeah, carry on, bro, carry on. I'll answer after you, bro.
ठीक है. So I'll try to answer in simple language. So Maya we would see as an illusion. ठीक है. Vaheguru, Akal Purkh Vaheguru is not Maya itself, but within Maya. Maya itself is an illusion. Maya Purya, it's an illusion, it's false. Right? Our bodies are Maya, but the souls within us, that is Vaheguru Akal, that's Atma. Right? And Atma we know is Paramatma. So Vaheguru themselves, Vaheguru Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, when they were born, the moment that they were born, ਜਦੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਹੋਇਆ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਸਿੰਘ born, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ, ਜਦੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਹੋਇਆ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ, they were without Maya. They were born without Maya. When we are born, Mahapurukhs, they have to attain that Jivan Mukti throughout their Jivan. They have to, there's a process.
So mukh jalo jit thakur joni pawe.
Yeah. So ਜਿਹੜੇ Guru san, Maharaj, they're Nirgun Sarup, the formless, right on earth. They're Vaheguru themselves from the very beginning that they were born. So that is why that they're different than Mahapurukhs, in my understanding, that from the very beginning, it's Nirgun Sarup themselves, Vaheguru themselves on earth.
I mean, just to clarify that, 100% took the words out of my mouth. ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਸੰਤ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਕਰਤਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ, they've cleared this in their katha, they've done ਵਿਆਖਿਆ of ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ. Akal means ਸਮੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਰਹਿਤ, timeless. Murt means ਸਰੂਪ, ਹਸਤੀ. They mention as well, like all of us, when we are born, ਅਸੀਂ ਪੁੱਠੇ ਲਮਕਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਤ ਗਰਭ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਦੇ, we was pleading to God, ਵੀ give us this life, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਵਾਸ ਤੇਰਾ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ 10 ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਹੋਏ, they weren't born like this. ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ, ਫੋਰ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਮਾਤਾ ਤ੍ਰਿਪਤਾ ਦੇ ਗਰਭ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਹੋਣ ਲੱਗਾ, ਮਾਇਆ itself took the form. So they took the form of a pregnant lady, of ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਬੀਬੀ ਤੇ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਹੋਣ ਲੱਗਾ। And then ਜਦੋਂ ਅਵਤਾਰੀ ਪੁਰਸ਼ ਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਉਹ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਛੋਟਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਰੂਪ ਧਾਰ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਜਨਮ ਲੈਂਦਾ। So it's not like us, we were for 9.5 months we were upside down in our mother's bellies and that। ਫਿਰ ਸਾਡਾ ਜੰਮਣ ਹੋਇਆ, ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਆ 10 ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਜੰਮਣ ਮਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਰਹਿਤ। And coming back to that Jot Roop Hare Aap, Guru Nanak Kahayo, that's the same thing as well. Obviously there's a difference between Mahapurkh and Guru Sahib, and coming to that as well, everything is Vaheguru, like what our brother just said. Atma Roop is Paramatma. I want to give a worldly example. So we've all got phones in our hands. Our phones, the buttons might be working on it, everything will be good, but if you've got no electricity, then the phone won't work. So that's the same as us. If we've got Akal Purkh Shakti, like our brother said, Atma Chetan Satta, then just like our phone, if our phone's got electricity, then it can work. So same as us, or the whole world, everything we see, if it's got Akal Purkh Shakti, then it's working, and that comes to that Sab Gobind hai, Sare paase bhi Akal Purkh di Shakti hai, then it can work. And Manmukh and Gurmukh, that's determined by our own actions, what actions we do. And Guru Granth Sahib has mentioned it clearly, a Manmukhan de karmya, a Gurmukhan de karmya.
And a simple explanation of the word, of the shabd Oankar, ek Oankar, ek, everything's one, right? Or eko Advat Srup Akhand, but Oankar means within, Prakashikhan, within, right? That's the simple meaning, within the creation, right?
100%, bro.
Maya, think of Maya more as an imagination. It's more of a a reflection of Nam, you could say.
Basically everything we see is Maya like. So everything that comes in is Maya, and Maya in simple words, is a distraction. It's distraction you from your main like goal, which is bhai prabhat manu ko dehuriya. Whatever gets in your way, that's maya. Maya
go-
like काम क्रोध लोभ मोह अहंकार राग द्वेष हर्ष सोग चोरे चिंता फिक्र, in simple words.
Yeah, so moving on to, because both of these questions are connected. Jobin Singh asks, I still believe that the gurus were physically normal people like us. How is this not true? So we have our criteria to that gives us an understanding of how Guru Maharaj was Vahiru themselves and not physically normal people like us. Ekta, one of these Shakti Kalo, right? So there's a couple criteria. One is, the first one is Shakti. Okay, so Shakti means power, miracles, you could say, right? Unlike other beings in history and mythology, Guru Maharaj used Shakti to help people. They used their powers to help people. And these powers they've had from the very beginning. One also is Buddhi. The Buddhi means intellect. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj knew everything without even studying anything. Right? एक पंक्ति होती है भुल गई सूर्य प्रकाश ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਿਨਾ ਪੜਿਆ ਇਵੇਂ ਆ ਪਰ ਯਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ but there's a pankti that says without even reading anything Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj knew everything. Instead of learning from their teachers, they're teaching the teachers, right? And we have many criteria. The kartab, for example, the actions of the 10 Guru Sahibans, perfect. They never made a mistake. The Maharaj never made a mistake in all of their 10 swoops. Never made a mistake.
I'd just like to add to that. There's a shabd in Guru Granth Sahib Ji where Sikh Sangta they went to Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj and they did beinti to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj भी Maharaj Sache Paatshah Ji भी पूर्ण गुरु दे लखन की ਹਨ. Sant Jarnail Singh has done the katha of this shabd twice. The shabd is Mirta ko payo tan sasa bichratan milaya, which they mention ਆ ਲਖਣਿਆ ਜੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਪੂਰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ whoever has these ideologies is a ਪੂਰਨ ਗੁਰੂ. Mirta ko payo tan sasa ਪ੍ਰਭ ਭਾਵੈ ਬਿਨ ਸਾਸ ਤੇ ਰੱਖੈ. Somebody that can put breath back into a dead man's body. That's number one. Mirta ko paaya tan sasa bichratan milaya. ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਿਛੜਿਆ, like for example ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ 84 ਲੱਖ ਜੂਨ ਚ ਵਿਛੜੇ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲਾਪ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਆ. ਹਰਨਾਮਾ ਮੁਖ ਮਿਰਤ ਕੋ ਪਾਇਓ. I'll just get the shabd out because I got a weak memory. I'll just get it on my phone.
Me too.
Yeah, just 1 second, bro.
ਬਿਨਾ ਪੜਾਏ ਪੜ ਰਹੇ ਅਵਰ ਪੜਾਵਨਹਾਰ. ਇਹ ਆ. This is the line from Sri Nanak Prakash. ਇਹ ਕਰਤਾ ਵਿਦਿਆ ਕੇ ਜਾਲਾ ਇਨ ਪੜਨੇ ਕੇ ਪਰਹੋ ਨਾ ਖਿਆਲਾ.
Yeah, I've just got the shabd. It's Surah Mahalla Panjama. It's on Ang 614. So we've done Mirta ko payo tan sasa bichratan milaya pasu pret mugd pae srote. So ਪਸ਼ੂਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੇਤ ਭੂਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਗਧ ਬੇਸਮਝਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਰੋਤੇ ਬਣਾ ਦੇਣਾ. ਮੈਂ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਲਿਸਨਰਸ ਲਾਈਕ ਅੱਠਵੇਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਗੂੰਗੇ ਨੂੰ ਗੀਤੇ ਦੇ ਅਰਥ ਕਰਾਏ. ਐਂਡ ਥਰੂ ਆਊਟ ਦ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਕਈਆਂ ਪਸ਼ੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਕਲਿਆਣ ਕੀਤੀ. ਨੌਵੇਂ ਸਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰੇਤ ਦਾ ਆਧਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ. ਹਰਨਾਮਾ ਮੁਖ ਗਾਇਆ. ਐਂਡ they've made them obviously ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਹਰੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਾਉਣ ਲਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ. ਐਂਡ we all know ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਰਾਹੂ ਦੀਆਂ ਪੰਕਤੀਆਂ they always the ਮੁੱਖ ਕੇਂਦਰੀ or the main like of the ਸ਼ਬਦ like ਨੇ ਜੋ ਮੇਨ ਅਰਥ ਆ. and ਪੰਕਤੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਰਾਹੂ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਆ ਪੂਰੇ ਗੁਰ ਕੀ ਦੇਖ ਵਡਾਈ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਕੀਮਤ ਕਹਿਣ ਨਾ ਜਾਈ. ਵੀ ਇਹ ਪੂਰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਲੱਖਣ ਹਨ. ਸੰਤ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ has done katha of this ਸ਼ਬਦ twice. It's Mirta ko payo tan sasa bichratan milaya. And just to repeat, Sikh Sangta they went to Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj because Purn Guru de lakhan ki han. So whoever has these lakhan, they can be known as a Purn Guru.
Haji, thank you. So the next question is from Jay Singh. He says, if there was someone like Tadri who came into the Sangat, how would we treat the situation differently to how we treated Tadri and damage control wise? So he's basically saying if there's like another Tadri happens, how are we going to control the situation? How are we going to learn from this situation to deal with him?
My personal opinion is when someone goes wrong in it, when someone is wrong, whether he's your relative, whether he's part of your group or whatever, stop him immediately. What happened with Tadriawala was we were so like entitled with the fact that Baba Harnam Singh's with Badal or this, that, the other, that inadvertently we kept on supporting him just because of that reason, and we didn't even listen to this guy to see what he was doing. Guru Granth Sahib da inne beadwi kar diti, Sikh itihas maliya mate kar dita, and whereas fair play, if we disagreed with Baba Harnam Singh, we should disagreed with Baba Harnam Singh, but jehde Sikhi Siddhant hai, we should hold Tadriyan liable for that as well. So whoever makes a mistake or whoever is wrong, hold him liable, whether he's part of your group, whether he's not part of your group, whoever he is, he should be held liable, responsible for what he's preaching.
The best way to combat Tadriyala is not to reply to him, because if you reply to him excessively, right, it makes him legitimize, right? ਤੀਜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਲਾ ਲਓ, ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਲਾ ਲਓ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ 'ਚ ਡਰਾਈਵ ਕਰਦੇ, right, ਕੇਸ ਕੱਟੇ ਆ ਮੁੰਨੇ ਕੋਨੇ, right, and they're not interested into Sikhi, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਮਸਾਲੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ they want to listen to, ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਹ ਕੀਤਾ, ਇਹਨੇ ਰਿਪਲਾਈ ਉਹ ਦਿੱਤਾ, right? This is not the type of discourse ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ 'ਚ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, you know, like we used to have actual institutions ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ discussion ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ. We've done so much ਬੇਅਦਬੀ of how to have this Sikh discourse that we just give like aggressive replies to each other. The main thing that we need to be doing is creating a culture ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ productively ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, to make sure that people like Tadriyala, Nikki never get the limelight, because these people are here and they're not going to go anywhere unless ਕਿਸੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਠੋਕਦਾ, and I don't think that's going to happen, man, especially in the modern day. No one's going to ਗੱਡੀ, I don't think ਚੜਾ ਸਕਦੇ, you know, especially after what happened with the Shabil thing. Now they have ਕੰਨ ਖੜੇ ਆ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ, you know, people are aware and they're scared. The main thing is you have to be creating a culture ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ you can create whatever like things that they talk about. For example, the positive points that Tadriya has and Nikki has is Pakhandi Babbe in Punjab. 100%. Like I can say this any platform, kise bhi jathebandi now, and people will agree there are hundreds of Pakhandi Babbe in Punjab. But the people who should be raising this issue are not people like Tadriya and these pseudo intellectuals, because what these guys do is ਨਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਇੰਸ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਨਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਧਰਮੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, right? So ਅੱਧ ਵਿਚਾਲੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੀਜਾ ਬੰਦਾ who doesn't have that much interest, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਦੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਲਾ ਦਿੰਦਾ, right? ਵੀ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਸਹੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੋਣਾ or something like that, you know, and they bring them to their own side. So we have to change how we issue Sikh discourse, man, and that's going to be a huge change that we have to bring, because we're very elementary in that phase right now in the West.
Regarding Tadriyala and Nikki, my personal belief is history is going to repeat itself. I mean, look at Pulla was a couple of years ago. Regarding the discourse, I mean, Tadriyala, look, he was giving examples of Guru Nanak Dev Ji that spoke to those pandits. I mean, look at Kabir, there's democracy that spoke against that leader, that Raja. When it came to his turn, he was told to sit down with a Panch-member Pantha committee, which was Nirpak. There wasn't with any institution or anything. And he aap adi rakhda saga. I mean, the first issue regarding this is always be vichar karni chahiਦੀ, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੱਖ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ whenever there's this type of issue. ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਅੜੀ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ even at times like I mean, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਐਵੇਂ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਪਿਆ ਵੀ ਮੂਰਖ ਹੈ ਨਾਲ ਲੁੱਝੀ ਹੈ. There are some people ਮੂਰਖ ਗੰਢ ਪਵਾਏ ਮੋਏ ਮਾਰ.
ਪਰ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਦੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਤੀਜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ, you know. So the thing is, like I said before,
ਸਿੱਖੀ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾਈਏ, bring him back onto line.
English, please, guys.
Yeah, and with love, preach to him, tell him like be
the third person who's listening to both sides.
Yeah, like give him a fair view of what Sikhi is, put it in front of him. If he likes it, he likes it. If he doesn't, fair play, like. But he should have ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਮੌਕਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਵੀ look, this is what Sikhi is, this is the real definition of what Sikhi is, and then it's up to him whether he wants to follow it or not.
Haji, thank you, Ji. So
Gagan Singh, go ahead. Yeah, so we have a private question from an anonymous user. So that what they're asking is they're saying that some people say, you know, that Harmandir Sahib is just a normal building, you know, the kirtan done there, the Gurbani done there is not more special than done at any other Gurdwara.
Yeah,
So that's
Nick,
the first part of the question.
First
The
of
second
all,
part,
yeah.
the second part of the question is, I'll do two parts. Yeah. Second part of the question is, when you read Barney over water, it has no effect on it. Like, turning it into Amrit and all that, it has no effect. So what are your thoughts about this?
First of all, Darbar Sahib, the Ditte Sabbe Thab Nahi to Jeha, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they made Guru Darbar Sahib themselves. उन्होंने आप हथी दरबार साहब बनाया
Cures
और
leprosy.
इस कौम का केंद्रीय स्थान है. It's a main स्थान. And then so many of our Guru Sahibs. देखो पहला महाराज ने इस दरबार साहब रचिਆ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ first ਤੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਰਿਹਾ. ਸੋ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ is not just a normal building. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ look how many ਅਸਥਾਨ ਵੀ have all over ਪੰਜਾਬ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਕੌਤਕ ਰਚਾਈ. ਜਦ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਹੱਥਾਂ like ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ was made, what I'm trying to say is was made with Guru ਆਪਣੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ Guru Arjan Dev Ji's hands. So it's a special place as it is. So it's not just like a normal building. And it says in Gurbani as well, Guru Granth Sahib, Ditte Sabbe Thav Nahi Tuj Jeha. And we have other Satpurush, other Brahma Gyanis in Satpurush ਹੋਏ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਚਾਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਹੋਏ ਆਪਣੇ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਾਬਾ ਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਆਜ਼ਾਦ ਕਰਾਇਆ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਇਆ. So it's not a normal place. It's a place of God. That ਆਪ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਵੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ came as well. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਹੱਥੀ ਇਹ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਰਚਿਆ. And the second question is regarding ਖੰਡੇ ਬਾਟੇ ਦਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ. ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ made ਖੰਡੇ ਬਾਟੇ ਦਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਣੀ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰੀ ਜੁਗਤੀ they gave him
I think they're asking about Amrit Sarovar at Harmandir Sahib.
Oh yeah, Amritsar Sarovar. Well, the whole way, the whole history behind Amrit Sarovar was Bibi Raj Kaur. Bibi Raj Kaur, their husband was I don't know how you say in
Leper.
a leper.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, you know the story as well in it. Like if you want to
Leper, yeah. America
I can say good in Punjabi. I can say the Sakhi good in Punjabi, but I'm not.
Just say it. Just say it. Just say it. You're
like
done.
Obviously, Bibi Raj Kaur, they was the daughter of Duni Chand, the Raja of Delhi at the time, and there was 7 daughters. And she was used to go to Sangat and she used to listen to Asa Diwar, and in Asa Diwar, so Chinta Kare, Chetopaya Jaga, there's a Pankti that comes in there which says he should leave all worries to him who's made the whole creation part, Vakal Purk Vaiguru themselves, and they believe that themselves as well. When one time she was with all of her sisters, and their sisters were saying, "Oh, look at our father, he's feeding us, he's raising us, he's the reason why we're still here." And Bibi Rajkar, Bibi Rajni ji, she mentioned, "Nahi bhi den wala Akal Purkh hai, he's the Almighty, he's the one that raises us. It's because of him that we get whatever we get." And they went straight to the father, and unhone shikayat lai. Like they went to him and they goes, "Bia dekho bhi ida kendi ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੀ." She doesn't believe that you raise her. She believes that Akal Purkh Vaheguru raises us all. And then Duni Chand called her into his darbar and he goes, "Bia teri vicharya?" And she goes, "Beta ji, hanji." And then he said to her, "What if I get you married to this leper? Fir bhi Rab teri palana karuga. Will God still look after you then?" And she goes, "Hanji, bilkul ji." Then he forcibly got his own daughter married to that leper. And she was going, told her that he even said to her that you're not allowed to eat from this house. You have to beg and eat, and you're not allowed to beg in my kingdom. You have to go to the other next kingdom, and you have to beg there. So Bibi Rajni took her husband, and when she went to the obviously ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਇਲਾਕਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ at that time, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Sahib Sache Pacha, they was doing seva of Santok Sar Sahib Sarovar. So ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਬੀਬੀ ਰਜਨੀ ਜੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਦਿਨੇ ਮੰਗਣਾ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਣਾ. And then one time she left him, her husband, leper husband, by Amrit Sarovar. She left her there and she went, and the leper, when he looked at the Sarovar, he saw black crows. How would you say hands in English?
Swan.
Swan, yeah. He saw black crows going into the Sarovar, and when they were coming out as white swans. So when he looked at himself and he goes, if I go into the Sarovar, maybe I will turn into a swan as well. Maybe I will get healed as well." He went into the Sarovar, and when he went into the Sarovar, when he came out, he looked at himself and he was like healthy again, 100%. And Bibi Rajni used to carry him in a basket, So what he did was he turned his basket around and he sat on the basket. And when Bibi Rajni came back, she looked at this man, this young man, and she thought to herself, "Who is he?" She was thinking, "He's killed my husband, and he's after me as well." She went up to him, "Who are you?" And he mentioned, "I'm your husband. Look at me, look at me. I'm all good." And she goes, "No, no." She was saying, "You've killed my husband, and you've taken his place because you know who I am. I'm Duni Chand's daughter, and you want to marry me, so obviously you can take over my dad." A Sikh of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they was walking by to go do seva at Santokh Sar Sahib. They've heard this argument. They spoke to him. They listened to Bibi Rajni Ji. They listened to obviously the leper, and who was healthy. They took him. They goes, "Idda karo, si tonu will take you to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, and they will sort out your argument." So they took both of them to Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. Cut a long story short, Guru Arjan Dev Ji mentioned ਵੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬੀਬੀ ਜੀ ਤੇਰੇ ਜੱਤ ਨੂੰ ਫੜ ਲੱਗਾ, ਇਹ ਤੇਰਾ ਹੀ ਪਤੀ ਆ। ਉੱਥੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸਰੋਵਰ ਤਾਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸਰੋਵਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਟੱਕ ਲਾਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ। ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਟੱਕ ਲਾਇਆ ਸੀ। ਥਰਡ ਗੁਰੂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸੀ, ਔਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ gave the responsibility to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and then ਉੱਥੋਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸਰੋਵਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ that ਸਰੋਵਰ that's in ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਉੱਥੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਗਟ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ। that's why it came forward। ਤਾਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਫਿਰ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਰੋਵਰ ਬਣਾਇਆ। then they made ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਸਤਵਾਦੇ ਜਿਤ ਨੱਤ ਕਊਆ ਹੰਸ ਹੋ ਹੈ। like I don't remember the ਪੰਕਤੀ properly myself, but ਏਦਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ 'ਚ ਪੰਕਤੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ। that's when ਉਹ ਸਰੋਵਰ ਪ੍ਰਗਟ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ from ਬੀਬੀ ਰਜਨੀ ਜੀ। So it wasn't a normal ਸਰੋਵਰ, it was the special ਸਰੋਵਰ even from before ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ।
ठीक है, so many.
Wait, just sorry, one point. Next is Sarveer Singh, and then after that we're gonna move on to the next question. If anyone else wants to speak, please put it in text voice, and we'll add you to the queue.
How long is this gonna go on for?
However long the Sangat wants, Baji. Like
that's fine. Yeah. I have to go work in the morning, and I'm already late. Like, so is it right if I leave here?
Yes, yeah, sure. Okay. You can give your closing thoughts and then leave, Baji. It's up to you.
I'm very happy to hear all your Gursikhs vichar. Really enjoyed it. ਤੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਨ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ
ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
All right, Sarveer Singh, go ahead, introduce your question. Please keep it brief.
Yes. This is on the topic of fake Parchariks. There's a video by Tumba, and he's basically saying that when the bar stuff was being made, basically all the I don't know how to convert crore in like in like millions, I don't know what it is, like there's 33 crore Devi Devte. They came to Darbar Sahib and did their seva, right? So the thing is, in Gurbani it says we 30 crore das tumhare rizq pran adari. Basically Gurbani says that these Devi
Yo, your mic is cutting out. Like we didn't hear anything you said so far.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
If we try to move the mic closer or something.
Yeah, move the mic closer. Like dur hai bahut zyada.
Okay, is it better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, much better.
Okay, so you guys hear what part do you guys didn't hear?
Just start from the beginning, please. Yeah.
Here you go. So Mom made a statement saying that there 30 crore Devi Devte, the 33 crore Devi Devtas, they did seva. Like why Parmeshwar, why Guruji made them himself, made them do seva, say Darbar Sahib. And then I linked the video of Tumba claiming that. And this on the topic of fake Parchariks. The thing is, in Gurbani, it says right here, toward the Pankti here, it says right here, 30 crore das tumhare rizq pran adari. This basically says the 33 crore Devi Devtas, they're just slaves to Guruji, and they're just stuck in their own Riddhi Siddhi. They're stuck in their own, like, I guess how is it, magics? Riddhi Siddhi, like they're stuck in their own power plays, right? And then it says, Tanke Roop na jahi lakhne kya kar aakh vichari. So, and then Guru Sahib was court te 30 jache par naik dinde court nahi pandar. So this is basically saying that I can get the Punjabi one. Sabhi agwai karan wale Prabhu 33 crore devte bhi tere dar to mangde han. Basically, this is saying that that 33 crore Devi Devte, they beg at Vaheguru's door. And then we also have this one slok from, not slok, a sriye from Patana Sri, which this is read at Darbar Sahib, right? Like mostly every morning when Prakash is on. Pavan jo kaun gyan tyan kavan vid ustat kariye, til sadik 33 kaur, et hakim na pariye. Basically, the meaning of this is that which yoga, which gyan should we vichar, which dhyan, which pura dhyan, kehdi ustat like which quality of Akal Purkh should we do ustat of? But then thing is, the second line says that they or Devi Devte, they are like I can translate this to English. I'm not really a good Parcharik here, going Punjabi to English translations, but basically, yeah, because I'm just gonna not drag it out too long. So basically, the point is that Tumma here is saying that Vaheguruji is made the 33 Devi Devte do seva at Darbar Sahib. But these Devi Devte, they're not even worthy of being at Vaheguru's door. So this is like maybe you can say Tadri and like Neki and like all of them are wrong. We also gotta admit that Tumma is like also like a little Sharati Banda. He's not really like, he also does his weird Parchar as well. He doesn't do it much, but when he does it, he says a lot of weird things.
Yeah, like just an example, quick. I'm gonna make it like very quick, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna go eat roti. So when I was in Punjab, this is probably like 8 years ago or something, even longer. Actually, no, this was longer than that. I haven't been in a long time. But when Gyani Gurbachan Singh was a Singh Sahib of Sri Akal Takht Sahib, the type of katha that he did wasn't considered katha in my opinion. On what's it called, PTC Punjabi or whatever. So what they'd do is they'd read the Gurbani Pankti, right? And then he'd start talking about random stories, right? It's not even like Gurmat oriented, right? Because when Bani like Kai Devi Dev they mention all there, right? Like that's throughout Gurbani, but the stories weren't even appropriate to the Bani, you know. So there's definitely an angle. There's like weird stuff going on, like you said, kind of, you know.
Like I remember there was one katha, I forget who the katha was, but there was one pankti. It's like Maiden Sergi or something like that, right? You know, similar. You know, Maiden means earth, right? And saying that Maiden Sergi, like she's like to figure out. She's like, so like we have to figure out how the earth was created. We have to read the Quran because we got to read the Rakshas story and how he made Maiden, the earth. I was like, no, we don't have to read any Quran, bro. Gurbani is Jugo Jogatal. We don't need anything else. Yeah, Guru Sahib is written like in Dasam Granth and many of expositions to help us out, but we don't need like to read Quran just to understand
The
Gurbani.
way that I see it is like people who are Vidwans of the Panth, right? Like my friend, he's full-time student of Gyani Inderjeet Singh Ji Rakabeyale, right? And they're proper Gyani Tyani Bande, right? They have the knowledge. They read different texts and stuff because it gives them more insight to explain Gurbani, right? But Banda, like you said, Gurbani alone is Sampuran, right? Aam Banda does not need to, you know, but like for Parchariks, it helps obviously, you know, and there are references and stuff like for Devi Devte and whatnot, but Upgad probably knows more about this, so I want to hear what Upgad Baji says.
Me, for this discussion, I don't really comment because both can go. I did hear about the Harmandir Sahib thing. I do agree with 100% with the Panktiyan that you've sent, right? The Panktiyan that you provided. In my understanding, that's for Ostat of Maharaj. That Maharaj, Devi Devtan to kinne badde han, right? Kinne limitless, right? Without unlimited. They're much higher than these Devi Devtas. So personally, I don't really have an answer to that, but many there may be some differences in understanding or beliefs. So in this type of stuff, I believe that's fine. That's completely fine, right?
Yeah, I kind of agree. That is maybe not as big of a contention, I guess.
Yeah, that's not too big of a yeah.
No,
So
no, no. I didn't say it correctly. What he said was that Waheguruji himself made the Devi Devatas go there and do seva. But the
what
thing is, these Devi
Do you mean
Devatas, they're not
directly or
even worthy of
indirectly?
Waheguruji. Why would Waheguruji make them do seva at Darbar Sahib? Guru Sahib is Guru.
Maharaj di kheda if there's the
Gurpal Bati Mai.
if
ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਲੈਣਾ
we should
ਦੇਵੀ
check that katha back, check it again, see if Baba Toma provides any pramans, right? Any references to
Yeah, true, maybe.
any Gurbani, right? And we should check that. We should check that deeper. But I would say that's not really a such a big such a tarjana. It's not that big of a to me. It's not that big of a deal.
All right,
Okay?
thanks. So,
Yeah.
Gagan Singh.
Yeah, so I have a few
go
DM
ahead.
questions. Yeah. So back to the DM question series, season 3. Okay, so I have a question here. Now, why have 3HO and Yogi Bhajan, that sect, right? Why have they not been publicly called out by the Akal Takht? And why are we not calling them out? Why are we not putting attention on them?
ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਗੋਰੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਨੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਵਧੀਆ ਨੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਸਾਡੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੰਦੇ ਵੈਰੀ ਬੈਡ ਗੋਰੇ ਵੈਰੀ ਗੁੱਡ
That sums it up.
No, it's not just that. It's not just that because I know people who are connected to the 3HO, and basically when Yogi Bhajan died, then they did discrimination. They sent a representative from Akal Takht over there, and he was trying to teach on Sikhi and stuff. And the Gore weren't listening because a lot of them are more kind of into the spiritual aspects rather than the Dharam and the whole Sikhi and the institutions set up. So you can't really talk to people who don't give a shit about all the other stuff. So that's the main difference. You can't excommunicate someone who doesn't listen to you.
Yeah, they're more into yoga. There's actually a book, if you want to read this, called I forget the titles, but it's by Dr. Tirlochan Singh. It's exposing tantric yoga, something like that.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, so if anyone's interested in the 3HO thing, that's a good book to read.
No, books ਤਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਨੀਆਂ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਮ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਕੋਲ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਬਾਹਲੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇਖਣੀ ਹੈ look up ਗੁਰਸਾਂਤ ਸਿੰਘ on YouTube.
Just for the audience, he's obviously joking. Don't do that.
No, why am I joking, bro? I'm being serious. What?
No, some of the stuff he
Yeah,
says is legit.
Gursant
A lot
Singh,
of it is outlandish, bro.
No, but Gursant Singh, he's an ex 3HO, right? And he's come out and he speaks against Yogi Bhajan. He speaks about his experiences. So if you want to know about what 3HO is and what really happens there, you should maybe check him out. Obviously be agnostic about what he's saying, but just check it out.
Also, watch out because the guy actually has an agenda as well. Okay, so on to the next question. Go ahead, Gagan Singh.
So we have one more DM question. So I think Jamgod Singh did answer it before, but it's basically saying, so if we look at the Sakhi about when Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha, when they went to Benares and they started to pour water right towards the opposite direction of the Hindus who were pouring to their ancestors, right? So that Sakhi was to show them that doing that is not going to work what they're doing, right? And this person said that was Guru Nanak Dev Ji opposing rituals. So if Guru Nanak Dev Ji has worked so hard to disprove these illogical or magic powers, then why should we believe in that the Guru has powers and the Guru can stop a boulder or can stop this or can do that magic whatever?
May I answer this question?
Of course, my brother. Go ahead.
So the Guru wasn't against rituals. Maharaj was not against rituals. Maharaj was against fake, false, empty rituals. Okay? Maharaj was against Karm Kand, right? Like fake rituals that have people don't even know what they're doing and they're just doing these rituals, right? Rituals done in prem, we have respect for it. Bhagat Kanna ji, Guru Granth Sahib ji, their Bani is within Guru Granth Sahib ji. They worshipped a rock. Right? They worship that rock. They love that rock. They love that rock so much thinking that was Vaheguru Parmeshwar. Vaheguru Parmeshwar is within everything, right? They thought that was Vaheguru Parmeshwar and they worshipped that rock, and Vaheguru Parmeshwar came, right? Elope ho gaye sige bhagtan na ji from worshipping a rock. We have nothing against ritual. We're against false ritual that has no love, no gribi, no humility included. That has no reason, right? Think about people that read Anand Sahib de vich aunda, in the 24th Purdy, Maharaj says they keep reading Bani, they keep saying Vahiru's name, but their mind is somewhere else. This is the game of Maya, right? So we're against false ritual, against empty ritual. Okay? So let's get this straight. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj is Vahiru Parmeshwar. They never used their powers or miracles for Odna. They never used it for no reason. They used it to help people, and teach them that yes, there is Vahiru Parmeshwar, that there is Vahiru Akal Purkh, that your focus should not be on these false rituals. Your focus should be on Vahiru Akal Purkh. They use their Shaktiyan to help people, either to save their lives or to help them understand. They never use it for praise. They'd actually those people that use miracle powers, false or real, tricks or illusions and stuff like that to gain followers. They shut that down. They shut that down, but they did use their powers not for followers, not for fame, but to help people.
All right, thank you. Yeah, just.
Yes, can I ask like one question?
All right, go ahead, Vardeep Singh. Go ahead.
Yes, just 1 second.
Yeah.
But they did have followers, right? All the gurus, they did have followers. So how can we say that they did not have this intention or not? This is a very false.
They had followers. Why did they have followers? उन्होंने वाहिगुरु ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਨਾ ਸੀਗਾ. They wanted to show the correct way. They didn't use their powers to कि देखो मैं शक्ति वरतदा. They didn't use it like that. They used it to help people, to help them understand things. Maharaj is antarjami. They knew ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਦੁੱਖ ਦੀਨ ਦਰਦ ਦੁੱਖ ਭੰਜਨਾ ਘਟ ਘਟ ਨਾਥਿਆ ਨਾਥ, right? They knew everyone's dukhs. They knew what people needed to understand. Sometimes it'd be a show of power. Sometimes it'd be to take their ego down, or right. Maharaj is antarjami. They just like Chamkor Singh. They एक उन्होंने शब्द कढ़िया सीगा. That uthanka, the shabd comes from a show of power, a show of shakti. Maharaj uses. Maharaj didn't use Shakti like Krishna and Ramchandra, where just to get followers or to show how mighty they are. Instead it was to help people, right?
Yeah, that ties in the Pankti I just said. These Krodi Das, Tumhare visit Pranadag, the Devi Devtas, they're just stuck in their powers and stuff, right? But Guru Sahib is Akal Purkh.
To redeem Kal Yug, man. That's the reason why Guru Sahib.
To redeem Kal Yug.
Yeah. And the thing is, at the same time, on one hand, ek paase Guru Gobind Singh Ji had the swaroop of royalty, right? Of Badshahi, right? Maharajan ke Raja, right? And at the same time, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is also called Sarbansdani, right? Sacrifice everything for the Panth. ਕਿੰਨੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਆਪ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋਏ ਹੈ. Not just immediate, like by Mani Singh. There's so many extended relatives, over 40 ਜਿਹੜੇ Sikh ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋਏ ਹੈ. And that's why Guru Gobind Singh Ji is called Sarbansdani, It's not just because of Char Sahibzade, That's the reason why people think. But this sacrifice is for the Panth and to redeem Kal Yug, man. And the way that we view power is different when it comes to Sikhi, because Guru Gobind Singh Ji said Panth vase main ujda man jao kanera, When you understand this and you view Sikh history and then re-examine what Guru Sahib said, be Panth vase main ujda, right? It's completely different.
So I have this counter question to this as well. So don't you think that we're all so involved and so much in what do I say? we're so much concerned about how we think and how other thinks what guru is that we have forgotten what they were actually saying. We were just trying to disapprove others and trying to approve our thinking. ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਸੀਗੇ, ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਇਦਾਂ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ, ਅਗਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕੋਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਇਸ਼ਟ ਵੀ ਮਾਇਆ ਜੋ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਨ ਤੋਂ ਹਟਾਵੇ। ਇਸ਼ਟ ਮਤਲਬ ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ, ਉਹ ਰੱਬ ਵੀ ਮਾਇਆ। ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਹਾਊ ਕੈਨ ਵੀ ਆਰ ਸੋ ਇਨਵੋਲਵਡ ਇਨ ਡਿਸਅਪਰੂਵਿੰਗ ਅਦਰਸ ਐਂਡ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ, ਚਲੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਅਪਰੂਵ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ।
ਬਾਤ ਬੇ ਬਾਤ ਨੋ, ਬਸ ਇਹੀ ਪ੍ਰਮਾਣ ਆ, ਬਾਤ ਬੇ ਬਾਤ ਕਾਹੂ ਸਿਓ ਨਾ ਕੀਜਾ, ਰਸਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਰਸਾਇਣ ਪੀਜਾ। ਮਾਰਾ ਭਗਤ ਨਾਮਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਫਰਮਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਨ, right, that we shouldn't focus on, you're right, we shouldn't focus on such debates. We shouldn't try to focus make our life's priority to prove others wrong, right? Knowledge is not to prove others wrong. Knowledge is to find who we are, right? Knowledge is to find the Paramatma within us, to look within, right? You're right, yeah. We shouldn't focus on this, but this is prachar, this is charcha, we're discussing where any misinformation someone has, that's dealt with, right? Because that misinformation can lead to a problem within your journey.
Yes, man. Misinformation is one of the most dangerous things in our month. Misinformation, and Dudley and other Parchariks have caused this.
Just one last question that I would ask. One last question. So we are talking about misinformation, okay? So ਥੋੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਚਮਕੌਰ ਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਕੌਆ ਹੰਸ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸਰੋਵਰ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਤੇ ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਏਦਾਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੌਆ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਹੰਸ ਬਾਹਰ ਆਇਆ। Don't you think this is also misinformation? Don't you think that ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਇੱਕ ਜਸਟ 1 ਸੈਕਿੰਡ, ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਮੰਨ ਲਿਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੱਡਿਆਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ, ਆਪਾਂ ਮੰਨ ਲਿਆ, ਠੀਕ। ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਡੋਂਟ ਯੂ ਥਿੰਕ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ, ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕੀਤੀ, ਮੇਰੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਸੀਗੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਿਮਾਰ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਬਹੁਤ ਆਪਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਹਰਿਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਆਪਾਂ ਖੁਦ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕੀਤੀ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਅਖੰਡ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੋਏ। ਹੁਣ ਚਲੋ ਮਾਲਕ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਮੰਨਿਆ ਕਿ ਹੁਕਮ ਜੋ ਪਾਣਾ ਵਰਤਣਾ ਉਹ ਵਰਤਣਾ। ਬਟ ਡੋਂਟ ਯੂ ਥਿੰਕ ਦੈਟ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰੀਅਲ ਲਾਈਫ ਜੋ ਰਿਐਲਿਟੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਇੰਸਟੈਡ ਆਫ ਦਿਸ ਕਾਈਂਡ ਆਫ ਮਿਸਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ। ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਜੋ ਕਦੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕਦੀ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦਾ।
ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ 'ਚ ਮੈਂ ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ ਉਪਕਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਦੂਜੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੈ ਸੰਪਰਦਾਇ ਦੇ ਮਾਈਟ ਨਾਟ ਐਗਰੀ ਵੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਾ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਪੱਖੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ। ਸੋ ਮੇਨ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਮਿਰੇਕਲਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਓ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੰਨੋ ਜਾਂ ਨਾ ਮੰਨੋ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੰਦਰਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ ਹੈ they're important, right? ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਿਥਸ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਮੈਂ ਗਗਨ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਮੰਨੋ ਵੀ ਦੇਵੀ ਦੇਵਤਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਨਾ ਮੰਨੋ, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਮਝੋ ਵੀ ਉਹਦਾ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਦਾ ਕੀ what is the reason, right? Like ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੁਣ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਲਾਈਕ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਾਪ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਸਰੋਵਰ ਚ ਮਿਟ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, right?
ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਸਰੋਵਰ ਨਾਤੇ ਸਭ ਲਾਤੇ ਪਾਪ ਗਵਾਤੇ।
Yeah, exactly. ਵੀ that's explanation ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸਰੋਵਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ it is also the ਸਰੋਵਰ is also ਨਾਮ, right? ਵੀ it is also ਹਰਿਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਸਰੋਵਰ is also ਨਾਮ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੰਨ ਲਓ, right, ਤੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਐਂਡ ਯੂ ਫੋਕਸ ਔਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ, ਲਾਈਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਇਹ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ, these are irrelevant ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀਆਂ। ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਗੋਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਵੀ ਆਈ ਅੰਡਰਸਟੈਂਡ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਲਾਈਕ ਅਸੀਂ we're here born and brought up in the West, right? ਇੱਥੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਮਾਡਰਨ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੋਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ, ਇਟਾਲੀਅਨ ਦਾ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਡਾਂਟੇਜ਼ ਇਨਫਰਨੋ ਲਿਖੀ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਦੈਟਸ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਚਨ ਮਿਥੋਲੋਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਹਾਂ, ਕਈ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਲੈਵਲਸ ਦੇ ਹੈਲ ਦੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ, ਪਰ ਉਹਦੀ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ ਤੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਆਪਦਾ ਬੰਦੇ ਦਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਲਿਖ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਚਨ ਸੁਸਾਇਟੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਲਚਰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਫੈਲਾਵਾਂ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮਾੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸੁਸਾਇਟੀ 'ਚ ਫੈਲ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਵੀ ਮਰਡਰ ਕਰਨਾ, ਰੇਪ ਕਰਨਾ, ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀਆਂ ਸੁਸਾਇਟਲ ਲੈਵਲ ਦੀ ਮਾੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਲਿਟਰੇਚਰ 'ਚ ਅਤੇ ਕਲਚਰ 'ਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਇੰਬੈਡ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਮਾੜੀਆਂ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਇਟ ਡਜ਼ਨਟ ਮੈਟਰ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਪਰ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਪ ਦੀ ਪੱਖੋਂ ਸੁਸਾਇਟੀ ਧਰਮੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਬਣ ਗਈ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਸੋ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ, ਇਹ ਲੌਜਿਕ ਲੂਜਿਕ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੋਈ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਕਨਫਲਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ, ਸੋ ਇਟਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਦੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਕਲਚਰ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰੋ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਿਥਸ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਮਿਰਕਲਸ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਰੇਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਦਿਓ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਇਹ ਹੋ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਪਨੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ YouTube 'ਤੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਦੇਖੀ ਹੋਗੀ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਹੋ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ, ਹੋ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਜੇ ਹਰੇਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹੀ ਚੱਲੋ ਹਾਂ ਇਹ ਹੋ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ, ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਲਚਰ ਅਤੇ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰ ਲਾਈਕ ਕੁਛ ਰਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੀ, ਦੈਟਸ ਦ ਮੇਨ ਥਿੰਗ। ਵੀ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੈਸਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਮੈਥਸ ਅਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਲਚਰ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਇਨਵਿਗਰੇਟ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਫਰਟੀਲਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਲਾਈਕ ਇਟ ਹੈਲਪਸ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ the modern age ਵਿੱਚ ਮੇਨ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਵੀ there is no culture, right, ਹਰੇਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋਮੋਜਨਾਈਜ਼ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਿਥਸ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਹਰੇਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਆਰਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਲਿਟਰੇਚਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਲਾਈਕ ਦੈਟ, ਤੇ ਯੂ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ ਥਿੰਕ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਦੀਜ਼ ਥਿੰਗਸ ਇਨ ਦੈਟ ਵੇ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਸੋ I don't think ਵੀ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਬੀਬੀ ਰਜਨੀ ਕੌਰ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਕ ਸਟੋਰੀ, or not ਕੌਰ,
ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੀਬੀ ਰਜਨੀ ਸੀ ਨਾ, ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਭਰਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣ ਦੇਖ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਸਾਖੀ ਸੁਣਾਈ ਸੀ ਚਮਕੌਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ, ਪਰ ਦੇਖੋ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਖੀ ਸੀ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੀਬੀ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਝ ਝੱਲਿਆ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਫੇਰ ਵੀ ਉਹਨੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖੀ ਸੀ, ਠੀਕ ਆ। ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਦੇਖੋ, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੀਰ ਮੰਨੂ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੀਰ ਮੰਨੂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਟੋਟ ਕੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਗਲੇ 'ਚ ਹਾਰ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ, ਉਦੋਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਇਹ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਾਹਦੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹੈਲਪ ਕੀਤੀ, ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਫੇਰ ਜਨਮ ਲਈਏ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਫੇਰ ਟੋਟੇ ਹੋਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਪੰਥ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਫੇਰ ਕੁਰਬਾਨ ਕਰੀਏ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ। ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਮ ਨਾਟ ਟੈਲਿੰਗ ਯੂ ਪਰਸਨਲੀ, ਆਮ ਜਸਟ ਸੇਇੰਗ ਦੈਟ ਸਾਡੀ ਸੋਚ ਵੀ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਬਸ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੁਡਨਟ ਕੀਪ expectations from the guru, because if the guru is going to save you, he's going to save you. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ 'ਚ ਤਾਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ, ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਦੇਖੀਏ, ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ if you go to ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ now, ਆਪ ਜਾਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਿਆਨ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗ੍ਰੰਥੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛੋ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਕੌਤਕ ਇੱਥੇ, ਕੋਈ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੌਤਕ, ਕੋਈ ਮਿਰਕਲ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਹੋਗੇ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ have you heard of it, ਕਹੋਗੇ ਲੈ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਰੋਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਰੋਜ਼ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ, ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਆਪ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਨਾਲ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਨਾ ਮੰਨੋ,
ਮੰਨਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ, ਕਿ ਬਸ ਇਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਨਾਮ ਧਿਆਇਆ, ਬਸ ਨਾਮ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ, ਹਨਾ, ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਦੀ ਖੇਡ ਆ ਇਹ, ਹਨਾ। ਜਦੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਦੀ ਖੇਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਓ, ਤਰਕ ਤੇ ਅਵਤਰਕ ਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸਣਾ, ਲੌਜਿਕ, ਇੰਟੂਇਟਿਵ ਐਂਡ ਰੈਸ਼ਨੈਲਿਟੀ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਸੋ ਕੜਾ ਕੋ ਮੂਰਤਾ ਕਹਾ ਤਰਕ ਅਵਤਰਕ, ਹਨਾ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਕਾਲ ਉਸਤਤ ਵਿੱਚ, ਹਨਾ।
ਇੱਕ ਲਾਸਟ ਮੈਂ ਭਾਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਊਂਟਰ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਹੈ ਮੇਰਾ, ਬਸ ਮੈਂ ਲਾਸਟ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਬਈ ਮੇਰਾ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਭਾਜੀ ਨੇ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਜੱਜ ਕਰ ਲਈ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਮੇਰੀ, ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲਾਈਕ ਵਾਈ ਡੂ ਵੀ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ ਆਸਕ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਿ ਭਾਜੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਕੌਤਕ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਟੂ ਮੰਨਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾ ਬੇਸ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਆਹ ਕਹਿਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਜੋ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਬਹੁਤ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਤੋਂ ਲਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ, ਡਿਰਾਈਵ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਬਸ, ਬਹੁਤ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਕੀਤੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਬਸ, ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਹੁਕਮ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਲਿਆ, ਬਸ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਆ ਗਈ, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ। ਬਟ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਔਖਾ ਇਹ ਹੈ, ਬਟ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਐਵੇਂ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਹ ਗੱਲ ਪੁੱਛਣੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੌਤਕ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ, ਜਾਂ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਹੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼, ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲੱਭਣ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਕਿ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ, ਆਪਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਬੇਸ ਬਣਾਈਏ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਤੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਜਸਟ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਆਫ ਕੌਤਕ, ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੌਤਕ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਅਗਰ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇ ਓਕੇ, ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ। ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ। ਤਿੰਨ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਮਾਣ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਇਨ ਓਲਡ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਐਕੈਡਮੀਆ।
So there's Vedic Praman from literature, what we would call our Vedic Praman, our reference would be to Gurbani, Swa Praman, and Lokak Praman. Lokak Praman would be from Vidvans, Sant Mahapurukhs, and Swa Praman, that would be historical, history. We do look at Suraj Prakash, Bhai Gurdas Ji Vara, those type of granths.
Yo, can you
Right?
repeat
So
that real quick?
it's a triangle. So history, Gurbani, and our Mahapurukhs today, Vidvans today, the
Give me
scholars today.
words.
No, I'll send that to you. It's not important, but so ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਤਿੰਨ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੇਖਣੀਆਂ. When we see a debate, when we see something controversial, we're gonna look at it through that triangle. First, we're gonna look through Gurbani. Then we're gonna look through history. Then we're gonna look at what the census from Vidvans are, from scholars and whatnot. Okay? So there are a lot of questions about the gurus. I would suggest that look at Ramkali Kivar. Ramkali Kivar. Patande Savaiye. Look at have a reference to that. To whoever has a question about the gurus, that would be your best place. That would be the best place to look at Ramkali Kivar.
And just to piggyback off of what Abgar Singh said, 100%. But I give mostly like, because I don't know a lot about Gurbani, right? So I just give simple answers based off of what I know. Is that if you sanitize Gurbani to a sense, or Sikh history, kuch marji tushin dekh lo, right? Culture, you sanitize it so much, bhi kuch rahi nahi gaya, right? But that's also not going to be appealing for the new generation. Unhone kehna bhi haan sada dil saaf hai, hor di ki lod hai. You know, we don't need all this stuff.
Yeah, Babaniya Kahani, ek pankti hondi
Sabut kare, yeah.
Yeah, Babaniya Kahaniyan ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਹਾਣੀਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਕਹਾਣੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ we call them myths and all, right? Those are very, very important to the process and the journey of a Sikh. Very, very important.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, learning the story behind the shabd that you read, the story that took place. Anand Sahib has a beautiful, beautiful story behind it. Japji Sahib ucharan karte hoya Sumer Parbat. You know, many people like Tajawala say Sumer Parbat doesn't exist, right? But if Japji Sahib kidda ucharan hoya, Sumer Parbat, that's what we recognize, that uthe ucharan hoya. Kartarpur Sahib te Sumer Parbat. Those two places.
Okay, thank you, Abgar Singh. Babek Singh has been asking to talk for a long while. Babek Singh, would you like to come on and say and give your thoughts before we move on to the next question?
Achha, I was gonna say Gurbani di Pankti that I've heard when I was younger, which has resonated with me throughout my life, I guess. But the slogma latija Brahm binda tista Brahma tarah ek shabad levlaye nam nadi 18 hai siddhi piche lagi hai fir hai jo har hirda sada visaye. Basically, I'll just read the translation directly and I'll send the Pankti in here as well. But it says, one who knows God and who lovingly focuses attention on the one word, the Shabad, keeps his spirituality intact. And the 9 treasures and the 18 spiritual powers of the Siddhs follow him, who keeps the Lord enshrined in his heart. मतलब जे गुरु साहब the Sikh इन्ने वड्डी ताकतां लै सकदे बाणी कहंदी है कि ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਾਮ ਦੀਆਂ 18 ਸਿੱਧੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, the 9 treasures. I mean, there's a bunch of them. You can search them up what they are. But if these treasures and these spiritual powers, if Guru da Sikh ਲਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਆਪ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, right? Just something to think about. That just how great Maharaj is. You know, just if they're Sikh, so it can do so much. But anyways, continue.
All right, so the next question comes from Harinder Singh, who says, it was mentioned that the Guru Sarups in their 10 incarnations never made a mistake. Does that include the periods where they were not officially the Guru? He's saying, for example, the period of Guru Angad and Guru Amardashi, their lives before they met the Guru. Basically, were they born as Vaheguru Sarup? That's his question. So, Abgar Singh or anyone else, feel free to answer.
I don't want to take over, so someone please.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
Sure.
Go ahead.
I think pehli gal, I think we should first of all calibrate what it's very important to understand कि गुरु साहब जी बहुत ਬਹੁਤ ਉੱਚ ਪੱਧਰੀ ਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ they had ਕਾਬੂ on man which is biggest enemy first of all that makes them very great but we have to disassociate ourselves and our path on Sikhi ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ in the form of ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਰਚਨਾਵਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਬਸ I don't know why we are so associated into yes we should know the history yes very important ਜਿਵੇਂ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਤਰਕ ਵਿਤਰਕ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਹੀ but I don't think this question is even relevant or not but how because ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਲਾਇਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਐਕਸਟ੍ਰੀਮ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜੋ ਬਹੁਤ ਔਖਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜੋ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਉਂਦਾ but ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਲਾਇਆ ਤੇ that is why they became guru and we have to understand and disassociate ourselves from Isht itself ਅਗਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਰਾਹ ਤੇ ਤੁਰਨਾ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਅਗਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਤਰਕ 'ਚ ਉਲਝਦੇ ਰਵਾਂਗੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਕੀ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਰਾਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਸ ਉਹਦੇ ਚ ਉਲਝੇ ਰਹਿ ਗਏ ਬਸ ਬਟ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਅਗਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਹੋਰ ਆ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਦੇ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ ਆਨਸਰ ਆ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਦੱਸੋ
So let's have a look at sorry
there's no answer ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀ I want to answer this ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਲੈਣਾ ਜੀ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਉਹ ਹਜੇ ਰੰਗਤ ਦੇ ਜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣੇ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਹਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਲੈਣਾ ਜੀ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਗੱਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲੀ ਸੀ so it's very I don't know if you can claim that during their non-Gurgaddi period that they made a mistake, but definitely after they received Gurgaddi, they didn't make any mistake.
Okay, we can say that maybe I don't want to be disrespectful, but just to be clear, yes, they probably made mistakes. They were ignorant about Vaheguru, right? And Ota, that's one of the biggest diseases there is. They're ignorant about Vaheguru permission until they came into the Sangat, into the Charna of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, and their Pai Lehna Ji. But let's look at Ram Kali ki war, right? Lehne di feraiya, Nanak dohi khattiya, right? So Guru Nanak Dev Ji says they proclaim that now Guru Pai Lehna Ji is the Guru, right? So but what happens though? What is that spiritual process that's going on, right? Jot oha jog tasai Sahakaya fair palatiya, right? So just like a candle, so you light a candle, so that candle is Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. They were the candle from their birth. They were they were Vaheguru Parmeshwar from birth, right? So now that candle is lighting another candle. It's lighting the candle of Pai Lehna Ji, right? And now so that one light, that ek jo jyot sigi, right? It just changed bodies at that moment. ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਅੰਗਦ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਗੱਦੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸੀ when they were given it that's when that light emerged into Guru Angad Dev Ji. That's when they were one now. You guys, is that a good answer or
100%. Because even Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha in the Bani, I forgot the Pankti now, I forgot the Shabad, but they even say that Guru Nanak Dev Ji basically they transform themselves into Guru Angad Dev Ji and so on. And but ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਹਾਤਮਾ ਸਾਧੂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ ਸੀ they can see Guru Nanak Dev Ji physically, they can see them in Guru Angad Dev Ji, they don't see a difference, but to get to that avastha is obviously it's not for everyone, so they are the same. Pai Lehna Ji obviously before they were Guru were different. They used to be, I think there's a Sakhi when they used to be of a different mat,
they used to worship Durga.
Yeah. And I think they were from a low so-called low class family, and some of the high class Brahmins when they were eating, Pai Lehna Ji's shadow went over their food, and those Brahmins were like, oh my god, what's happened, we have to go back to the Tirth all the way back, we have to do a Ishnan again to get this dirt off us because this low class person's shadow is gone. And so Pai Lehna Ji was like, whoa, these people hate me that much. So then they went to find Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and obviously like Upkar Singh said, when the Jot mil jindi ya ekka Jot mili, when the Jot meets, then they are Guru.
Like how the purpose of Sikh is to become one of the Vaheguru, right? So many beings can be one with Vahiru at the same time, just like that, right? So if that's a good way to put it. And so because Amit's question does come, I know someone else wanted to answer, but I'll just add this in. Just because yes, the Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj were alive for a bit after giving the Gurgaddi to Guru Angad Dev Ji. Same thing happened with the other gurus as well. And another pankti, it comes right after the one that I just used. I gotta find it. Chulla so chat niranjani mal takht baitha gurhattiya. Right, this shat, this canopy, this throne of the Guru is Niranjan. It's Niranjan. So what does Niranjan mean? Anjan means Maya. So Maya. So everything that we see around us is Maya. It's a reflection. It's the illusion, right? Nir Anjan means without Maya. So this play that the process of this of giving Gurgaddi, the guruship, as many people would say in English, being good, that's Niranjan. It's beyond Maya. This play is beyond Maya than what Maya can comprehend, right? Malatakta Batha Gurhattiya, right? Now Guru Angad Dev Ji sits on the throne.
So the next question is from Amrit. He says, does that mean that there were more than one physical gurus alive at certain periods? And I believe Saravir said you wanted to answer that, so go ahead.
Yeah, so my answer to that would be no. There's only one guru alive at certain. There's only one physical guru. When Gurgaddi gets passed on, the Jot gets passed on to that physical body. And after that, this famous. So when Guru Nanak Dev Ji gave Jo Gurgaddi to Bhai Lena Ji, or when Guru Tegh Bahadurji Ji gave Gurgaddi to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Guru Gobind at that time. And then Guru Tegh Bahadurji left for Shahidi at that time. So at that time, Guru Gobind Singh Ji became Guru. But the physical body of the previous Guru was still respected because that was still like a living physical body. But the actual Jot or Gurgaddi was still Guru Gobind Singh Ji.
Yeah, but it's like, when you light, like the upcasting used the analogy of a candle. Yeah, when the candle lights another candle, the candle that was lighting it, that doesn't get unlit. It's still lit, right?
That's still Vahiru's vessel, right? Guru Nanak Dev Ji
Yeah.
Maharaj's body, the Pavitra Sarir was still the vessel of Nirgun Swarup and Sargun form, right? It's not that there's only, it's the same Guru, right? Ek Oankar, it's the same Guru, right? Same Jot, right? It's just different bodies, and but it's a kid, right?
Yeah, or like when Guru Harkrishan Ji mentioned which band Guru Sahib would be in, and Bhai Makhan Shah Labana found Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, and it's sari cheez, like, it's beyond our understanding. That's why, like, I can't say anything, right? Because it's beyond our understanding, man.
Jeko kaha picha pashtaye, right? It's hard to talk about these things because
Yeah.
these things are we use rationality and logic for the world, right? But Vaheguru Parmeshwar cannot be calculated.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
We need more of an experience, intuitive attraction to
ਤੇ
understand
ਫਿਰ
this
ਵੀ
thing.
ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਆਉਂਦੀ
Yeah,
ਚੀਜ਼,
ਤੇ
ਸਮਝੋਂ
ਮੂੰਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ
ਬਾਹਰ ਹੈ।
ਬੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ, ਇਹ ਸਮਝ ਤਾਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਜਿੰਦਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ ਆਖਾ ਨਾਹੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਥਨ ਨਾ ਜਾਈ. I know these things, but yeah, I cannot speak them with my words, right? Maharaj says to the Siddhs on Sumer Parbat, on that big mountain where the Siddhs live for many years doing bhakti, doing yoga, right? Maharaj says, I know these things. Yeah, with mere words I cannot explain, right? But then they explain based on the words that we have on earth, right? And that's Japji Sahib. Okay, so hopefully these answers are making sense.
Yeah. And then we'll probably end it off at because it's already been like 2.5 hours now.
Yeah,
So,
ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਰੋਟੀ
so
ਖਾਣ
we're just
ਨੂੰ
gonna do one more. So how do we define the common Sikh theological foundation that Sikhi is based on? That we claim that people like Dadriwala and Neki have disrupted. So how do we exactly define it? Is it just miracles? Is it just superstition stuff? Is there a clear definition of the common theological foundation?
What do you mean?
I would say the common theological foundation is one is Mool Mantar. One Japji Sahib, all of Japji Sahib is the common foundation. Starting from Ek Oankar to Jinni Namat Aya, Gaye Masakat Kal. Nanak te Mukhujle, Keti Shuti Naal. That's our foundation. Jinni Namat Aya. Jinane Naam nu, those who have meditated on the Naam. That's our
I was
foundation.
talking more
Not
about
the
like interpretation wise in terms of
inter-
how it's understood. Like for
So
example, you have Taksalis, Nihangs
I
and
would,
stuff.
I would like to
Who
answer this question.
okay,
There's two
go ahead.
ways of interpretation. एक होना थोड़ा आत्मिक, थोड़ा spiritual. Like you have the base of Sikhi. This is not really. This is my opinion, but I don't think we say it's a really opinion. Is that it's Amrit Vela and doing Nam Simran and doing Nitnem in the morning. That's the base of Sikhi. And when you do Simran, when your avastha rises, you start realizing things when you read because you can't just do Nam Simran, you have to read Gurbani as well. So when your avastha rises, you realize more about Gurbani. That's one part. Now there's the second way of interpreting Gurbani is through Vyakaran and Akri Arth. That never changes. But the spiritual, like your spiritual experiences, like interpreting Gurbani as per your experiences, that's independent. That's different for everybody. But there's also like a single way of interpreting Gurbani for everybody. That's Vyakaran. That's like according to grammar. But then there's also like a personal, according to your avastha. There's two ways of interpreting. That's like not my opinion, but like a lot of Vidwans also say that. Like you can't just say that. Oh, like Gurbani only has one arth according to grammar, right? Because that's not really true. Because everybody has their own experiences when they get to a high avastha or something. That's just so
yeah, but
that's the answer.
that Vyakaran Artha, as you can see, if you look at any Satik, there'll be multiple arths, multiple meanings there for you, right? But those meanings, where do they come from? That's set in stone. That comes from Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and we have a direct lineage. If you don't believe in the Taksar, then at least believe in the Gyani Samprada, right? Of the Ustad, the lineage, right? If you believe in the Taksar, then you have that direct lineage right there, right? But that starts from Guru Gobind Singh Ji. That's set in stone. That philosophy, that core of Sikhi is set in stone, I believe.
I don't want to get into the argument of which arth. I don't want to like argue like, oh, it's Vyakaran better or Antriv arth better.
No, I'm not
But
saying it's better. I'm not saying it's better.
or like which one's correct. But I'm just saying like there's always two ways of Gurbani. There's like your personal experiences and your avastha raises. And there's like that's set in stone. That's because
That formal meaning.
that's the grammar based that
That
no one
formal
can
meaning.
deny.
Yeah. Yeah, but even if you look at the stakes, any cities from Satogali Tuksal or Dandimi Tuksal, or even those Nahang stakes, right? Meronwale, there's multiple meanings. It's accepted that there's multiple ways to look at Gurbani, right? And Gurbani is like breaking down a riddle, right? There's multiple ways, and that's accepted. It's not like there's one meaning and that's set in stone.
Yeah. It's
Like the
also
first 40, right? It's 6 meanings, right?
Sant Gurban Singh Ji, they gave 10 different arts just for Mool Mantar.
Yeah, 10 different. It's crazy.
Yeah. And basically, I think when we look at Gurbani as well, there's what the historical meaning was. So, like, what was the question and answer? Who was it to? Because most of Gurbani is a Operation Uttariya, question and answer. So it's like who the question and answer happening between. So that's the you can say like the fixed arth. But then obviously then you go into what else could it mean from a different perspective? How can you use it in this and that? So Gurbani is endless, isn't it? It's literally endless.
I know that we kind of gone over time and that was the last question, but I really want to answer the question Gideon asked. Do we make mistakes if Vahiru is doing the action to us? So
I don't think they're here right now.
I would
Gideon's
say
still here.
the
he's still here.
answer.
So
I would say
they
the
are,
answer
never mind.
is no, because if they're acting through us, then obviously it's part of cared, right? Just like when tragedies happen in movies, it doesn't mean it's a mistake. It means it was intended by the director. So in the same way, nothing can go against the hukum.
So no. So I'm not going against what you said, Karim, but just to make it clear, because there is confusion, and if you look at the English meanings, sukmi sahiba, right, like Barney and stuff like that. There's like it makes us believe that everything is done by Vaheguru and that we have no free will. Yet we actually do have free will. So there's this really this is the analogy I've been taught. So we have karms, right? Our karms build up through our lifetimes, and our karms are what decide our what happens in our life. It decides our genetics, our nurture and nature, right? Our nurture and nature, our genetics, the way we've been brought up, the environment that we're in. That's what karms decide. That's part of hukum. So think of hukum like a bigger play, and then karms is like part of that hukum. It's like a rule, part of that. So think of hukum like a rule book. Maharaj's hukum is like a rule book, and one of the rules in there is karm. That karm shall exist. Think of it like that, right? So when think of a good analogy is to think of you're a dog on a leash. Your karams is your master. Your karam is what walks you every single morning, right? Based on your karams, based on what your karams decide, what your master decides, it will take you on a good path, a dangerous path, or a dangerous path. A good path with lots of grass, lots of squirrels, lots of beautiful path, right? Or it can take you on a very dirty and mucky path with vicious stray dogs and cars that scare you. Dogs are sometimes scared of cars, right? So that's where your karams are. You have the free will. Depending on your karams, you have the free will to look around, sniff, sniff that grass, take a shit, whatever you want. Some dogs are even off the leash. That's what we call brahmgyanis. They're off the leash, and they're expected. They already the master already knows that. Now the master is God, obviously, because the brahmgyani's master is not karam. The master is Vaheguru, right? So now Brahm Gyanis, they don't have the leash. They've been trained. They're fully trained. They're not gonna go chase her after a squirrel. They're gonna stick by the master's side really closely without a leash. But us, karams mare karm hon, right? You have less freedom of choice, of free will. Some people don't have freedom of will, right? They live in that world where they're conquered by disorders or their genetics, where they cannot think, or they don't have free will. Some people, we do have free will. Some people, if you're living in a first world country, you're obviously walking on a really good path, right? If you have your food, clothing, everything ready, and everything it meets your needs, if your needs are met, you have a really good path, right? And your karams, that sniffing about that you're allowed to do, that's reserved for Naam, that's reserved for Gurbani, Seva, okay? So hopefully that makes sense, that free will.
All right,
Right.
thank you.
So what happens in your life is hukam based on your karams, but the way that you deal with it, the choices that you make with the decisions that the in the environment that you are within is your free will. And
All right,
that
thank you,
our
Waqar Singh. Okay, we're gonna have to go on to the next one because we're running out of time. The last one, like,
that was the
just
last
keep it. Let's keep it brief, guys. Last one is, what do you say to people who discredit Gurbani and concepts by saying that it's just a metaphor and it's not meant to be taken literally? So let's just wrap this up after this one, please. All right, go ahead, Sarabjit Singh.
So my response to this is that this line of thinking only comes from people who have faith, or people who just read. They don't actually like implement in their lives. In order to properly understand Gurbani, you have to do Nam Simran, you have to do Amrit Vela, you have to have Kamai. That's the only way you can actually understand Gurbani. You have to experience it, not just read Gurbani. You have to like experience it in your life. Then you realize that it's not metaphorical. Some things are literally. And another thing is you have to look at the context of the Shabad. What is it talking about, and the grammar, and that makes it proper. So you have to like look at the background, the context, like the Sakhi, like what's the Sakhi of the actual like maybe Shabad. Sometimes some cases, and that can be used to figure out if it's metaphorical or literally. But most cases is you have to figure out which one of Vastha. And some people, they don't want to put in the work to figure out like to work and put in that like work and to do Kumai and do like all spiritual like raise their spiritual level. So they just get stuck on, oh, this is just Lankar, yeah, this is just a metaphorical or whatever. This is like whatever. So that's my answer to that.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay, man.
Ukar Singh, if you would like to give a response, feel free to, because we're gonna wrap it up right after.
No, that was a beautiful answer.
Okay. All right. With that being said, thank you everyone for coming out to the event today. We had over 50 members join us live, and the event went on for almost 3 hours now. So I would like to just say thank you for everyone for coming. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ
Vaheguru Ji Ki
ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ